Greetings, blessings, salutations once again. Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, returning again with some humility. Um, Brothers and sisters, thank you sincerely for those who have already stopped by. I brought a couple of names up, and I do genuinely thank all who have been part of this adventure. Yesterday, the stream, while I had my intentions and I offered my intentions clearly at the beginning, I failed. It was clear I failed. And so I judged myself pretty harshly at the time and afterwards. And so I spent a lot of time between yesterday's stream and today's stream contemplating, reflecting, reviewing, reassessing what is my best path. So logically, since I was finding myself in a position where I felt, based on what I was inviting, I was unable to maintain the composure of myself that I expect from myself. What do? Change the format is one option, obviously. Make sure that those who do join the panel are, with similar intentions for our time, share a purpose. So that's one way, which I am pursuing. I've said I would love to actually have some arranged conversations, and those are forthcoming, I believe. Stay tuned, brothers and sisters, to The Machine Lies. He and I think we're going to have some profound discussions on the concept and force of time. I don't know his views, but I know he's got a mind that I admire. So for the future of this channel, this stream, I'm hoping for a change, or I'm intending for a change. And some people won't like the change. Some people like to see the angry caught and like to see the gauntlet come up and, see which trigger we can get Jack to react to. And it's been fun on occasion. But brothers and sisters, I offered disrespect to Sophia yesterday, and she offered herself purely, authentically. Her faith was shown in a way that I do admire. The time of this world, brothers and sisters, we don't know the time. We don't know the day when we will meet the Maker. We don't know a day of judgment. We don't know what we don't know. But brothers and sisters, there's better ways for us to behave with each other. So after reviewing my thoughts, considering, well, I still haven't spent any time figuring out how to do the editing and stuff like that. So really recording a video, and then why not just do it live? So I did consider doing just record myself for an hour and then restream the recording here, and then I can participate politely and mindfully from the chat. And then hopefully the messages that I'm offering might be better understood. So, sorry for the long-winded, but this is my story. Thank you for your patience and your understanding. And for those who want to know, this was where I took myself in my own introspection of evaluating what is Jack supposed to do? Jack, That's the question I'm asking. So I did actually, there was a couple other. Um, I do try and offer my apologies, my amends when I can. And so anyway, golly geez. Because of conversations that I was allowed to have with people, that beautiful, kind angel Nicole, um, she was an example of, she was a beautiful example of grace and compassion, and her compassion was enough for me to be, for me to feel some strength. And then I was blessed today to go to lunch with a friend of mine from town. uh George, if you happen to tune in, God bless. Well, here's where we're at. After a lot of debate going back and forth within my mind, I am going to continue the panel. I'll be dropping the link very soon. And Flo, um, I saw Flo stayed in there. And please, you know, Sophia is tough. And but I don't want to offer her disrespect. Not at all. And nor you, Flo. You were one of them too. You've been pretty patient. We're not quite understanding each other yet, but I've appreciated you, and I don't intend to offer disrespect. But finally, after 8 minutes of going on about memories from yesterday, today, progress and context. Initially, initially, Flo, you cracked me up, man. Initially, the topic was supposed to be on progress and context. You know, uh, the various contexts, different perspectives, different containers that the word progress can be used in. Individual progress, collective progress. What's going on with the progress of there's a lot of things that we could be checking in on the progress. People like to talk about results. Results would come from a conclusion, from a completion. And there are times where there is a completion to a deed or to an act. But as far as our lives, brothers and sisters, please don't judge yourself too hard for your progress. You can and should, we should and can all judge ourselves honestly for our efforts or lack thereof. You know, is our energy and attention being pointed in the right directions? Or are we just spinning our wheels and flapping our gums, so to say? Hey, I don't want to, just so it's done, so I don't forget, for the kind viewers who happen to, based on timing, be here and present with the technological abilities, please feel free to click the link and join on. Um, here's another. I mean, initially the idea was to discuss progress and context, but one of the things I realized from the conversations and my frustration yesterday is I often intermingle, you know, the bigger I intermingle a lot of topics, bring up the bigger picture when we could be focused on what is actual for ourselves. And I do want a better world. I do hope that when I come on, when I join and stream this, I do hope that someone receives something. If anything, a chuckle that you're not me. At least I'm not Jack. I think a lot of people have said that in my life. A lot of people. At least I'm not Jack. Oh my God. And see, I've learned to love me so much. I would not want to be anybody else in this world. Even the ultra wealthy or popular. I don't know. I'm pretty joyful being me. And brothers and sisters, that's actually what I'm trying to offer. The idea, the goal, plant the seed of thought to you. I'm hearing my buddy George's words from lunch. He delivered words of encouragement that reminded me, even if we're not reaching understandings, if I'm not content, just because I'm not satisfied with what I see doesn't mean that someone who's not made, someone not in the chat, someone not in the on the panel, perhaps there's seeds of thought being planted. Not perhaps, of course there are. That's what life is, brothers and sisters. Every new moment reveals new information for us, or old information. It reveals information. And what we pay attention to is what we're going to retain. But ideas are built. They're built on knowledge. So if you learn new things, you're going to get new ideas. And there can be like random connections. You learn something over here, and now all of a sudden you got a solution for something over here. Life and these minds, man, these minds are magnificent. I truly have learned how to love mine. I have to acknowledge this. The light you share, bless you, thank you. And to others I have not acknowledged, but golly geez, Chuck in Tennessee, NJ Jeep Girl, our pole, God bless. Salty Siren even. Anyway, here we've got a couple of folks here in the back now. Welcome. Is this working? Flo and Scott 2B.
What's going on?
Hey, good to see you again, brother.
Yeah, you too.
Scott 2B, is that really you? All right.
It'll probably happen just the minute like you stop paying attention to wars and secrets. They're all gonna end on accident. Like when you can't find something, so you stop looking for it, and then you realize that your glasses were on top of your head the whole time.
Dude. Oh, you just planned. What if people forgot to go to war? What if they forgot to fight?
I kind of believe that what you resist persists.
Yes. What you resist persists. And what you fear will be built. I mean,
it's what you focus on. My mom said, and it's one of those things that stuck in my head when I was younger. She said something like, worrying is like praying for something you don't want. I was like, oh shit, that's right.
Dude, that is very profound and true. Hey, I've looked closer at this Scott 2B. I'm not certain that's who it says it is. So before you're brought to the panel, you're gonna need to cam up or just leave. And then I've also got, we've got the producer Moose here. Welcome. I respect that. Thank you.
$5 says he's restreaming starting now.
I don't That doesn't bother me. I mean, I'm honestly trying to share things that I think might be helpful. Right?
Yeah.
Changing the mindset from the material based worldly uh results. Look at everything as progress, because life is growth, and growth brings progress. The results, we'll see the results after we're done. But until death comes, I think we should live.
We don't have a choice, so that's the good news.
That's what I realized. I kept praying to die for a long time. I wanted to die, but I was a coward. I wouldn't actually complete the job. So
That's a good thing.
it was,
Mm.
but it brought on a lot of fucking misery.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
I
I mean,
finally,
I don't get. I've never been in that mind state, and I've been around it enough that I don't have any sympathy for people who unalive themselves. I think it's hostile and selfish, but at the same time, I recognize that I can't really relate to it. So, I'm sort of speaking on something I don't understand to an extent.
hey, that's a blessing. And what I realized, though, is it was my own self-created sickness. It was the disease of the mind, the negative, loathing thoughts. It was, well, it was fucking stupid, is what it was, but I didn't understand it. And seriously, in the same house, driving the same car, in the same body today, and I feel good.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, even though I've never been suicidal at all, I think I'm far too arrogant for that. Really, I uh, I
Good.
have I haven't always been a great person, and I think that sometimes like the bad shit is for a good end, I suppose. Like what I'm trying to say is I came after getting ready to go in jail and doing that whole stint and losing everything. You get out and you really appreciate every single thing. When you've been locked in a concrete cellar with no windows for 5 months and you haven't seen the sky at 30 days at a time,
Hmm.
all of a sudden you really appreciate seeing the sky. So I'm trying to figure out how to express that without uh, saying anything positive about the experience, because fuck that shit. And I'm still pissed at the sheriffs. But yeah.
God. You know, you pointed out what is really obvious, and it was a lesson I learned in a different way. Thank God. I didn't end up going to a jail and being locked up or anything really, really horrible. Um, sorry.
Well, the worst part of it was um, losing my family for that
Yes.
amount of
I,
time. So, I mean, I think that you have experienced that to an extent.
well, the point I meant before my phone went off there was we really sometimes we don't know what we've got until it's gone. Once things are out of your reach, that you have grown accustomed to, that you've grown to love, when those things aren't available, it will drive you nuts.
Right. Yeah,
But
everything you take for granted.
mhm. And honestly, that's partly why I am so honest about what I've done. I thought I was doing the right thing, dedicating myself to my union, dedicating myself to my job, doing whatever it takes to make sure financially everything was taken care of. Fucking ignored the things that I really cared about,
Yeah,
you know?
it's I know exactly what you mean. There's a weird paradigm where the things that you feel like you ought to prioritize and that you're responsible for are exactly the things that just generally don't matter that much.
I agree. I completely agree with you guys. We often get lost in these things that if we actually lost them for the rest of our lives, we wouldn't even miss them. But then other things like friendship, supporting each other, like friendship really does mean something to me, man. Camaraderie. I know that communism isn't my thing. I'm more of a individualist. I'm an asshole, and but I still have this need inside to want to like serve the community and be part of the community. You know what I mean?
It expresses in a weird way for you.
Well, my mom always told me I was
Kind
very
of does.
special growing up, and I'm starting to realize what she meant by that.
Mine called me a retard when I bought a motorcycle. I think that our moms were saying the same thing.
Yeah, but mine was just a little bit nicer when she said it, I think.
Mine was mad.
But anyways, Jack, uh, I came up here to show you some love, brother. You said
I
last night. Sorry.
Go ahead, please.
You said last night something about like your heart's not in it anymore, and man, every time I get into that spot, it I empathize with what you were saying last night, and that's a fucked up place to be. And so I just kind of wanted to say that I think that there's a lot of people out there that whether you think they count on you or not, they come here every day looking for what you have to say, looking for what is presented here, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing that day. They still come back. It's the same people I'm seeing. You have a following of people that if you just stopped, they would wonder where you are. They'd wonder how you're doing. And so I wanted you to know that people out there actually do have love for you, Jack, even the ones that treat you like shit sometimes. I yield.
I know. Thank you. That was where I started with, was kind of going through the introspection and the realizations I came to. I still don't know what the future will bring, but this life, this life is not to be taken for granted. This life is fucking amazing. And Moose, you said something about we all do have this desire to serve each other. I to be of service, to show ourselves as of value. Welcome, Tarek. Good to see you,
Hey
brother.
How
Moose,
you
I
doing? Yeah.
apologize for being snarky earlier. Spiritual Gatherhood thinks that I was too mean to you, so um, I don't know if it hurt your feelings. I don't think it probably did, but if it did, I apologize.
So my mom calls me a retard and you call me a pussy, and I'm supposed to just take it.
That's what pussies do.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, yeah, so I guess you're right, guys.
or actually, humbly and authentically, we can say thank you.
It was more of
Thank
a
you.
jab. The apology was more of a jab at the chat at
I
servitude or
know.
whoever. Yeah, okay.
Praise God. They
Praise
come
fucking
back every
God.
day, no matter whether I'm amazing that day or I suck that day. The crowd comes back. They love Jack. Jack's the reason they're here. Jack, give them something, Jack.
Well, but let me say something, Jack. I want to make sure Jack knows this so we're on the same level here. Jack, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, and I'm looking you straight in the eye. I don't have any hate towards you or anybody on the panel. I have nothing but love for you. I may disagree time to time. Uh, of course, I agree with Paul on a lot of things, but it doesn't matter. Just that's my own opinion. But yesterday, to be honest, I was a little bit worried at the end. Like I'm like I didn't even get on the channel. So I'm not gonna get on there because I don't want to trigger you because I know some other people will try and trigger you. Um, and I was trying to let you do your thing, and then at the end you a little bit lost it, and then you got mad at also what's his name? I'm sorry, Flow State, whoever was there. So just my advice to self-assess sometimes, and next day get up and don't let that like diminish you or anything like that. And every day should bring challenges, like you say. I mean, I don't care who you are, Jack, me, Moose, Flow State. Every day has its challenges. You got to go over it, and then don't let it weaken you. Make you stronger. We all been through a lot, Jack. And then I got another question for you because I don't think you know my whole story either. Like you're talking about your family, and I understand what I know from the show about what happened. I went through a lot of things in my life where, um, you know, here's the thing about corporation. And I think a lot of people will agree. If you work for a corporation like a postal service or whatever, any big corporation, when they see any weakness or you're not providing for any reason, it doesn't matter what it is, they have their own committees, they have their own group of people that decide who's going to stay and not stay. They're not going to tell you if you're going to stay or not. They're going to demote you or take you out of the picture slowly, and then they're going to make you look like you're suicidal or you're not there, and paint a picture by everybody else that you are in the wrong. And I totally agree with you on that because um, there's been some situations through me and others that I know they've been in this, through the same thing, and that should make you stronger. In terms of the family situation, that takes time. It, and I'm telling you from a personal opinion. I'm not just saying that from. That's why I said let me stop you today out of love because I want you to understand. Like I've been there for a couple of years, uh, where everybody was against me, and it wasn't the same situation, but it doesn't matter. You still have to face it front and center, and you get out of it. Kids will come back to their father no matter what if you stand for the truth and if you stand for something that they look for now or in 5 years. They'll see it. They won't stay with. I don't care if they have a mom or not. They'll leave the mom eventually and go to their father, no matter what. If the father is a strong human being and got that character they want in their life, no matter what they try to do in terms of keeping your family out of your life, it will eventually come back to you. That's a fact. That's what I always been uh, myself in the truth in terms of letting things happen. Sometimes they have to happen. It just makes you stronger now. And when you get there, nothing can phase you. So I'm sorry it took a lot to talk, but I just want to make that up front to you that I've been through some of the stuff you've been through on a different level, and it'll make you stronger eventually.
I feel much stronger than you may think. I'm not sure.
No, I'm not saying you're weak, Jack. I'm just saying don't let things get to you in terms of like people saying things to you sometimes or whatever. Sometimes
Oh no!
it's
Hey,
just
Tarek,
yeah.
do you realize that when I come on here, every time I'm talking about, I'm actually offering encouragement and inspiration to others?
Yeah.
Um, I mentioned that I reflected yesterday, and actually the resolution I came to, what I was reminded of at lunch today. My friend George is another. He's devout, faithful to Jesus, but this is God's story, and I came to the realization yesterday, actually, and the stream just kind of reinforced it. This is no longer my life. The old Jack is dead. I'm just here to do God's will, and I do my best to try and figure out what that might be for me. Welcome, brother.
How are you, Jack?
I'm feeling blessed, man. I truly am. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir.
Praise God.
The topic I was going with today was well, first reflecting on how I hope to improve, talking about progress, and Tarek, I'm gonna
What
mute
an
you.
idiot.
Well, I'm gonna mute you. You're coming through. Oh, you got it already. Thank you, brother. Holy cows. Hey, the other topic though, what is I want to ask someone else's opinion besides my own, because I haven't thought this thought through yet. Is authentic humble for a human? Or is authentic, well, I guess never mind. It depends on the context, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think you can be authentically unhumble.
You can be, yeah.
Why are we tasked to be humble before other men and women?
Because that's the best way for us to understand each other, for us to serve one another.
Why are we tasked to understand others?
That's the best way to learn.
The best way to learn is to understand others.
We only have one lifetime we're experiencing, so it's best.
Shouldn't
to
we
learn
focus on
from what
understanding
others
ourselves?
have learned. I didn't say not to. But you were asking about in the context of humbling ourselves to another. The reason is so we can learn from each other. Doesn't negate learning from the self. And as a matter of fact, you humble yourself so you can understand another. And then you go within and see what you learned.
Why is it presumed that one can't understand another without humbling themselves before them?
I've experienced it firsthand. The arrogance the ego will deflect, interrupt, distract, and just negate what is. The ego creates challenges in communicating, and that's why humility is
Because
helpful.
when you think you know everything, you're not open to taking in new information.
Who's claiming that you have to know everything in order to not be humble before other men and women to try to understand them because they presume you don't?
Paul, you're creating a confusing narrative. Just why? I don't understand.
You're answering to. I'm asking questions and you're answering and defending. So
what are you confused about? What do you not understand?
This is the 10th time in the last few months we've had this discussion. Why are we tasked to be humble before other men and women with the presumption we can't understand them?
Paul, where did this presumption we can't understand? What
you just said we can't understand other men and women without being humble before them.
I did not say that, but being humble is a tool that helps with learning, Paul. You don't understand this stuff. I know humility is like a foreign concept to you.
I just don't accept your version of humbleness and humility that you all want to make.
I'll tell you what, Paul, part of...
I'm going to change the vibe real quick, and I'm going to say you're wearing a really nice shirt, Talcott.
It is a nice color on him.
Definitely a nice shirt.
It's a nice shirt, dude.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I've noticed Talcott can pull off pretty much any color. I've never really seen him throw on any color and kind of be, he's got the pimping in his blood, right? I can't really pull all that shit off. He could throw anything on and carry it. So
I was thinking all he needs is that fluffy jacket and maybe a cane.
Yeah, like if he had a big gold chain and some of them pimp glasses with the diamonds, he'd be killing it right now.
No. See, I want to be authentic. And I'm not a pimp, man. I'm just I don't know.
Well, not the pimp of selling pussy, but proper instruction motivates people. You got that in your blood, the life coaching thing.
I think Andrew Tate already pimped that one out, didn't he?
Welcome, Tommy.
Howdy.
I don't know what I'm doing here.
Oh, you're doing all right today.
That makes two of us, Jack. Just ride with that.
Jack, we are fallible human beings that make mistakes, so we humble ourselves to show our other humans that we know this, and so that we can maintain dignity when we
Wait a second. We have to humble ourselves to show other people stuff for them? That's a bizarre concept.
No, you could not do it, and then when you screw up, we could all go, Paul's a dumbass because he thinks he knows everything and he fucked up.
Which is what happens.
A lot.
What makes you think that I would care what everyone else said about me knowing I fucked up or didn't? That's my point. Self-knowledge, humbleness, and humility before the creational force is the most important, not before other men and women whose emotions are whimsical.
Paul,
it's a formula, Paul. It's been going on.
I know. It's working great for all the people purporting it.
No, your formula.
No.
Paul, the creational force is revealed through us. Okay, so we've got to find the balance between self-confidence and, humbling to understand. Not necessarily humbling to the person, but humbling our mind so we can accept what they're offering.
It's not groveling.
No, yeah, not groveling, but just
Swillable in
seeing.
the chat saying someone's groveling. That's his new thing.
Tom, hey Tom.
No, it's his new
Please.
thing. He's saying
Hey,
I grovel.
Tom. Hey Tom.
Yeah, I had to
want
throw
you-
him out before, Jack, over at my area, and he's going to do it here now. Make it the Tommy show.
Well, this is where I'm trying to avoid. Tom, I want you to understand that this is not the Tommy show. Okay.
Oh, I'll leave. No, I'm not gonna listen to that.
All right. Okay. Then God bless. Have a good day. I mean,
That's the way to do it, Jack. I'm sorry. That's the way to do it sometimes.
I know. This was part of what I realized earlier is that I've done this before and I may have to start pushing away people I don't like. That thought came up, or people I do like. I may have to push away the people I love again. And that thought came up regarding Moose. I saw he was not impressed that he didn't even make it on the panel yesterday, but I got love for Moose, but at this stage,
Why does Wizard dress like he's about to molest your kid?
I think we're moving on. I think we're moving forward, Jack. I think today's a new day.
I do too. Thank you. I agree.
Why do comments like that just come so freely from the honorable, just people so much? People who want to be good and do good, they just so freely just keep calling people pedophiles and deviants.
Well, I got a question, Jack. I got a question, Jack, because with Flow State up there and being up on the panel for the last couple of weeks, and when people make comments about that, like that, about other people on your panel, and you take no offense to it, you allow it.
Yeah, you're right, Keith. I shouldn't allow you in my presence anymore. He's offered me nothing except arrogance and bitterness.
I'm going to offer him something back. Let me offer him something back right now. Keith, unbutton the top button or put a tie on.
Right, because anybody's going to listen to you about fashion advice, right?
I mean, you're the one who did a whole stream bitching about my shirts because other people liked them too much. So,
are we still on that Flow State? Are you still on your latest ego trip that you got to?
It was a huge ego boost.
I know that it was. That's exactly why I told the goofy bitch not to come out of her face and give you an ego boost in your insecure life and lifestyle. You don't need it.
Paul, I've been me for 36 years. I understand how women react to me. That's not new. What is new is watching you not have the self-awareness not to cry for a whole
You're not getting it. I wasn't crying. I was pointing out exactly why I deal with certain people certain ways and don't deal with others. I wasn't crying. I'm thankful and grateful for what I'm shown.
Okay, cope harder.
Could you be loved and be loved?
Welcome.
The fact that you would lack awareness to the point where you would think I would cry about some goofy bitch online in a chat box shows how bizarre you are.
You were definitely crying. You don't have to admit it. It was still crying.
We
could watch
it. If we can't agree on the past, can we just come to the present, please? I don't know. There's lots of unresolved disagreements with many of us. Welcome, Snafu.
Mr. Talcott, respected and acknowledged producer Moose. Hello, guys.
I'm saluting you. You can't see me.
Yo.
So if we were going to discuss the topic of progress, how many of you guys actually have goals you're working towards? Like trackable, achievable goals that you visualize, planned out, steps towards? Or what I realized in the rooms of AA, and for myself too, when I was still in that miserable, suicidal state, a lot of the men and women I saw in the rooms of AA, they'd achieved a wonderful goal. They started breaking through in their steps of recovery. And then they forgot to set other goals. Right. So this world profits from mindless obedience, right? People buying and doing without thought, without paying attention. And if we don't have goals, you're just gonna, not you, we will just float through life if we don't have goals or a direction. So even if the goal and the direction might not be the right goal or direction, as long as it's not to hurt someone, pick a goal. Right? Pick something to improve upon so that you can reward, so that you will find that feeling of fulfillment from within you. That feeling of fulfillment, it comes not necessarily even from the achievement of goals, but just from the actions, from taking the steps and seeing progress towards the goals. And that's where progress comes in. Life is progressive. It just builds upon that which was, and it continues developing in new and different ways.
And that's at least in studies have shown that that's when people are at their peak well-being, is when they're not when they've achieved a goal, but while they're experiencing progress towards it.
Right.
I believe that.
Thoughts on it, Paul?
Well, I don't have thoughts on it. I've spoken on it for a year now, and I've shown it and put it into practice, and I've gotten the results and the blessings and value.
Oh.
So you're absolutely right. That's why I'm at peak performance, peak confidence with myself and who and what I am, at least internally, if not externally. That's why I see the opposite with a lot of folks here, because they're not doing that process.
So no one else has achieved their goals, Paul, right? No one else.
I don't see anyone on here actually setting any goals or working toward achieving anything of.
It's interesting because you cowered out to Monograph when he doxed you. My goal is to take down criminals.
That's all I had to do was just speak my experience, and now we're off and running. We're off and attacking now. Looks like I was right.
Let's nip this in the bud. Yeah, none of that snafu. Thank you, Jack. Holy cows.
I actually didn't do that. He stopped himself. Thank you.
Snafu is obviously a goal maker and hitter. A lot of
actually, I think there's a lot of people who have goals. Jack has done many goals and keep going. Flo's done them.
You just said yesterday, how are you lying then or lying today? You just came here yesterday and said Talcott does nothing, won't call the UN, and hasn't hit any goals. So you bullshitting then or now?
Right. I agree.
There's more you do. Exactly. Or you just lie about anything based on the situation you're in, right? To get political positioning and power. You're a scum, and that's why you're run by scum.
Remember, Paul, you're the only one with the goals accomplished.
Just keep lying. Is that one of your goals? To bullshit yourself and others daily? You're hitting that one.
Scum, please, okay? No one here is scum. So, Paul, thank you for pointing out the contradiction and hypocrisy.
Well, you do. But, you do need to call the UN things, but you have done things. It's not like I said you haven't done things like Paul says you haven't done anything.
The other side of that, though, Paul, is you just said yourself, and I know maybe this was part of the act, but you said you're in peak performance in all these areas, like you've reached some perfection, some completion, and then you're saying no one else has any goals. Dude,
I didn't say that.
Fucking kidding me?
I didn't say that.
God.
We'll try again. I said that
What goal did you meet?
I said I'm in the process. If we would listen again, we'll run the tape back because folks' comprehension is lacking here. The man said you tend to be at peak performance and actualization or realization when you're in the middle of the process. And I consider this to be the beginning / middle of the process. It's not a completed goal, but there have been goals hit along the way, if not directly, indirectly.
Jack, if I may, I want to ask Paul a question. Do you believe other people have accomplished important things and are doing things right now? Or do you think... Like, that's the question. Simple as that.
You're asking me that?
on this panel, do you think that
I
anyone
have
on this
no
panel
idea,
has
and I wouldn't
accomplished and
presume to
done
know. What I
important things
said
in this
was,
world?
I don't know,
No,
and I
I'm
wouldn't.
asking you, do you
I
think
don't
anyone on
know,
this
and
panel
are you going to let me
has
answer?
accomplished or done
Fuckface?
anything important
Are
in
you
this
going to
world?
let me answer, or are you going to keep
Snafu, let him
talking over me
answer.
and play power games? I don't presume to know. Only you all would know. I said I perceive there doesn't seem to be much of that going on. Now, either I'm right or I'm wrong. Only you know that. The fact
So-
you just acted out
So
and
Mr.
started
Moose,
reading and
he
screeching
actually,
pretty much
Mr.
confirms what I
Moose
said to
actually
be true.
explained some of his things that he did important, like selling it and
Hold
his.
on, hold on.
Why don't you
Paul,
just talk
do
about you
care?
instead of everyone
Paul,
else? How about that?
Paul, do you care if you are right or wrong?
Do I care if I'm right
That's a
or
good
wrong?
question.
Do you care if you are right or wrong?
Why
Who's
would
never
I
wrong?
care if I'm right or wrong about
In
your
the
life and journey and what I
context of this
perceive of it with
question.
limited information?
Well, this is kind of something that I'd like you to consider, Paul. You've got a lot of fucking opinions for a lot of people, but you don't know much about them.
Right. So am I not entitled to have those firsthand opinions? Those are the first impressions, right? And continued
Well,
impressions.
You're responsible.
That's what we go on
for
in life,
being
right? A lot of times.
truthful, Paul. You're responsible for being truthful and accurate. And so there was the question: do you care if you are right or wrong?
I'm not making an absolute claim. This is where you falter at court. I said I
Paul,
perceive.
no, this is where
that
you
is my
bring
impression.
everything into
I don't know it
argument.
to be true or not.
Paul, you're about to be gone. Okay?
I'm sure.
Well,
This
he's
pattern
undermining
of
his own credibility
disagreement-
right now. He doesn't care. He's always right.
I know. This is the problem.
You're saying I'm making a claim
Your-
and I'm not.
Paul, your ego
I know
is
you're
a
asking a
problem.
question because you're deflecting, but really what you're
Yes.
stating is no, I don't care.
Yep.
Right. I mean,
Well,
the question was very simple. Do you like
So
even in your
rather
video,
than-
even
so
in your
rather than
video you played
again-
today, Paul? The video you played today said
So rather than
you should
again
listen
to
to
prove me
others and grow
wrong.
from that. But
So
I
rather
don't
than
see you
again,
really
so
listening to
rather than
others
again,
ever.
you prove
In
me
fact,
wrong
you
and
take
just
it-
shut
you
me
take it
up.
as
We're going to
offense
talk
when
about
people
how I
try
should
and,
care about how wrong I'm not.
you know, help you by just you
Hey,
take it offense when people try and
What
help you learn
goals have you
things.
set and hit? How has your life changed and transformed over the last year, Snafu? My
Well,
life has changed immensely in the last few
Well,
years.
I'm not cowering
you know
out to
what?
criminals who dox and
Okay.
pogo people who, unlike you, cowering out to people.
Snafu,
Yeah, Mr. Monograph cowering
Your
out to him.
goals are based on what I
okay,
do and don't do.
you know
That sounds
what?
great. I'm your
had
daddy.
enough. Paul, goodbye. Okay. Snafu, you're on a very short leash. Put yourself on a very short leash while you continue on this panel, please.
I bet.
No, I
everything
will.
chills out now.
You know, even the video he played today on Paul's,
I
it said
don't
that a
care.
good man should listen to others. And I don't see Paul ever listening to you guys or me or anyone. He gets offensive, and we listen to him. Right? We're supposed to listen to him. We that's what we have to. But like when people talk to him,
Holy
he takes offense to listen.
Snafu, because of my frustration with you, my first response to you was I don't care. But as I said that, I was listening, and that wisdom is true. If we don't care, there's something fucking wrong. And there's a lot of people who've wanted to, you know, I understand life. I understand the human psyche more than people have given me credit for, I assure you, especially this knucklehead Paul. Guys, it is the human ego, this character of arrogance. Arrogance is not healthy. It's a sign of unresolved issues inside. I honestly,
You harm yourself with it.
yes, I started thinking through where is the good in arrogance, and there is a point and a time for arrogance, but when peaceful conversations are being had in a time such as we are living through, with some really not good news, you know, dark clouds coming in the forecast of the future. Guys, this is our lifetime to live.
Hmm.
I encourage everyone, find a way to convince yourself we can change the world. Find your way of changing the world. And maybe it does. It just starts with your small little community or starts in some small little branch of social media. But
I think, and I'm not trying to be mean or anything. It was, like I said, it was even in his video he played today. I know when I could talk to you, Jack, when I talk to Flo, when I talk to anyone, Mood, everyone, they're receptive. Okay, I guess that's the word to use. Whether they agree or not. Whether they agree or not, they're receptive to an understanding of, okay, I'll hear it out. I'll maybe, but with Paul, the ego is so high. And at first I thought it was a bit
He's
the
got
whole
more
time.
testosterone than a bull, you son. You gotta
Right.
understand
And
that.
that's not good though. That's what fucking, most people like that, like there is an inner issue. And that's maybe what's going
I
on
don't
with Mr. Paul
understand why
Sr. and him.
after a year I'm still tasked with being receptive to someone who I don't respect and
It's everyone, Paul.
your
It's not
lack,
just me.
Snafu, thank you, brother. Thank you for that. Your lack of respect, Paul, is the problem. Now, people who don't have respect within themselves, they're real selective about where they can share it. And then they think they have the judgment of all knowing, like Paul does. And now his real seems to be the favorite flying monkey, Nubs, is here in the back. And I personally have no desire to deal with this clown today. So
If you're gonna get angry, you might as well get angry at Nubs instead of me. No, I
actually,
was just saying.
how about this? What if the goal is to avoid Jack getting angry? Like, we don't really have to just sit around and watch assholes come up on the panel and disrespect me. We
You
don't
let 'em
have to
up.
do that. Yeah.
I like
I
it.
Part of
agree.
me
That's your
thinks,
choice.
100% agree.
honestly though, like I got to be fair. Part of me thinks that Paul doesn't think he's being disrespectful. Like part of me, like he's too stupid and egoic to fucking realize, dude, you're not King Ding-a-ling, King Kong, fucking big balls as Moose said, testosterone. And if you are, that's an issue because that's not how the world is meant.
People who
But
act like that aren't confident though.
But do you think he believed? Do you think he really believes? Like when we say, "Hey, your ego," do you think he's taking that like, "Well, yeah, I am," and he knows it, or do you think he really thinks he's not?
No, I think he's a
Power of-
bull, and he's got testosterone. I really think that is his issue.
What's
Hey,
that
Moose.
testosterone taste
Hey,
like,
Moose.
Moose?
Yeah, you guys, Moose, you are wrong. I mean, I know you're one of the encouragers, and you cowed and licked the boot of Paul to be welcomed back into Unslavia. I'm not licking that boot.
I didn't
Okay.
lick no boots though,
Yes,
Jack.
you did.
That's a little
Moose,
disrespectful.
Moose, you're right there with
Moose.
OTW. Come on.
Yep.
Now that's even worse, Flow State. Calling me
So
right
here-
there with OTW.
Moose.
You need to
So
self-reflect. then.
rather than continue the patterns of gossiping, which is what I criticize Paul about, rather than continuing to gossip about him, you guys have any ideas for solutions?
Talk to him until he finally humbles himself. Like I mean, I'm kind of curious if he understands if he thinks he's egotistic or if he thinks we're just all of us, not just me, but over all. Like it's not like we're just saying something different. We're all on the same page. Like everyone's on the same page of what they've been saying to him.
Right, but you can understand something and not understand it on different levels at the same time.
I agree.
Well, we can all understand each other if we choose to understand. But in this worldly game of life, people want to convince themselves they're better than each other, and that way people can get punished. And then as long as you're better than someone, it doesn't matter if you hurt them. They're worthless anyway, right, Paul? I mean, that's the attitude you throw around. So the judgment of the ego, something we all need to remember when we're viewing and making opinions of the world. You're considering the variables and the information you see. You better bring into the variables your perception is what is included in that which in the world. So as you're forming your opinions about the world, you might want to think twice. Is it the world or is it me?
I don't have the same opinions of everyone like you do. It's conditional.
I don't.
You have a broad spectrum opinion of most interactions and people, and you get horrible results. I don't.
Paul, let's come back to you and me.
Right.
What is
I have a reason for why I have a reason.
Jack, if you take it back to you and him again, then it's just going to go exactly the same place it's gone before.
Right. Listen to flow state. Just listen to flow state. Do what he says, Jack.
Paul,
Do
what
what
are
he
considered
says.
horrible results?
Do what
Because I
Snap
give him
says.
shit
Do
about
what
the
everyone
but,
else says, Jack, but what you need to do. That's the thing.
Same thing as you, dude.
Hey,
So, like, the question is, what horrible
I
results
thought
is he
it was
producing?
Jack's broadcast. Now we have Snaps and flow state dictating the flow and the direction.
You are such a gaslighter, Paul, dude.
How am I gaslighting? It's good for the goose, not for the gander. Day to day, you guys have double, triple standards for everything.
Can you chill out just for a minute? Fuck.
Okay.
Here. Can you just chill?
Yeah, just chill out. While the same people day after day continue to try to character assassinate me and defame me in public with false claims.
Mr. Joe Cool, how's it going?
What's good, Snap Up?
Paul, you don't see yourself in your own criticism there?
In what sense?
What you were just complaining about, seeing the panel of people just wanting to complain about you. You don't see yourself literally in your fucking criticism?
Well, you guys can't explain anything that you feel. You're speaking from your feelers.
No, that's untrue. You're just
okay.
You're projecting. What
We
evidence?
get some logical examples then?
Brings you to that accusation?
Can we get some logical examples and comparisons, or are we just going to keep talking about what we all feel and don't feel?
If I may, though, Paul, you said that people on this panel don't do nothing. I know Joe Cool does many things with the city. I know Christos is on his health kick. I know Jack
Where did Joe Cool and Christos come into this conversation except for your benefit to now use them to listen?
Because you said
you're not Christos and Joe Cool, and I didn't include them in the conversation. So why are you including them now for your benefit?
Indeed. Why does everyone got to explain everything to you all the fucking time?
Right.
It's not everyone having to explain to me. It's three of.
No, you know what? I removed Snafu because he's not cooperating. He's wanting to do his own persecution and interrogation of Paul.
Well, that's true. I mean, it's sort of understandable, though. I'll give you
I
that.
don't want each person starting an argument with Paul, but speaking generically, I think many of us have experienced similar problems, similar patterns of behavior offered from Mr. Paul. So I would love to practice peaceful dialogue. I know it requires cooperation. Do you think
anyone? Did I claim to do violence? Did I even call any names?
Paul, rather than playing the little fucking angel persecuted,
rather than just feeding you all your bullshit back so we could see how nonsensical it is.
You see what you're offering right now?
You're peaceful and I'm not, right? You're all peaceful and I'm not. That's the dynamic.
I'm kind. I'm caring.
Oh, you're very kind.
I am.
You called me a punk before and threw me out. You're so kind. What do we owe you?
Oh, did that hurt you?
No, it didn't hurt. You wouldn't call me nothing and you wouldn't throw me nowhere in the room with me. You know damn well you wouldn't. You wouldn't buck up to me. You wouldn't throw me out physically and you wouldn't call me nothing. You're a coward online. You got muscles online, but you ain't shit in life.
Yeah, I'm done with you today.
You're done with life.
You can go away.
You get.
I don't care anymore. Paul, you convinced me. Now I got two versions of Nubs here in the back, and Nubs, he's more than worthless in my life as far as I'm concerned.
Keith dropped a couple of big back chat messages too. Boy, bitch, ass.
Here,
fuck,
Keith.
cunt.
Keith, what do you want to reveal of yourself? Let's see what Keith has within him as a supposed follower of Christ.
Listen, I came up on the panel in peace. I was
What
quiet.
time was this?
I was
Yeah,
respectful.
okay. All right.
Tonight.
Yep. So, Keith, I know you're going to have a lot of complaints about the past. So, rather than we go and rehash the past, let me offer you this, Keith. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you and I have not communicated or understood each other as well as we could have. But I am confident, brother, that with
Man, I wish this shit wasn't so weak.
I am confident that with cooperation, what a little bitch ass. Keith, are we able to understand? We able to move forward, or do you want to stay trapped in the past?
Well, if you remember, I already gave an apology a long time ago.
Okay, so please answer the question.
You didn't accept it. And so I've
Okay.
been frustrated. And so tonight, when I'm coming in peace, right? I came up in peace. You even
What
let
are
me
you?
on your.
What are you right now? What is now?
Again,
is
I'm
now?
referring to that. I'm
Are you
referring to
peace
that.
now? Is it peace
Yes,
now?
I'm referring to
Is
that.
it? It is.
I'm
peace
referring
now.
to that.
It is peace
Yes.
now. Okay.
Yes, I'm telling you. Okay. And when I came up on the panel and I was completely silent, I made no aggression. I came in peace. And the first word said about me was a derogatory remark by somebody else projecting something and displacing the proposition that I came in peace. And before I even got to ask about that, you shut me down. So if this is really a peaceful panel where you're trying to bring people to peace, then why are you letting people like Flow State sit there and interrupt and project other people before they even speak?
Was your peace dependent upon how other people acted?
Yeah.
That wouldn't happen in court. It wouldn't happen in Parliament. It wouldn't happen anywhere else but these panels.
Yeah. Was
What
your
does that have
peace
to do with anything?
Right,
sincere, or was it dependent on other people's action? Or are you going to stay with the peace?
I'm
Or was
staying
it
with the
dependent-
peace. That's why I'm still
Okay.
here in the background.
That was my question. All right, my man.
Joe,
All right.
thank you for that question.
Yeah.
And Keith,
And real quick here,
Hey,
Jack, because
well,
like I said before,
come on.
real quick,
Come on.
just let me
Wait,
real
whoa.
quick. I said before, I'm trying to give you kudos, Jack, because listen, if people in the rest of these panels don't see how I've grown because of you, Jack,
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'm telling you, like I said before, Jack, from my experience, when men come to tussle like this and they get through it, it's
They're
because
better
they
men.
gained a deep respect. They gained a deep respect for each other. Okay?
I like it.
I don't deserve anything less than the greatest respect that another man would give himself. If you truly want to respect yourself, Jack, please be peaceful. Quit letting numbnuts like Flow State sit there and interject and create discord while you're trying
What
to
happened
prove
to your
that you're a
peace,
peaceful
guy?
man.
I would say, what happened to your peace?
You don't see yourself in your accusation right there in your question.
I'm
Keith.
not
You
making
don't
an
see
accusation.
yourself.
I'm showing what was stated earlier.
We were all here.
He did exactly what I said. And yeah, and if you're a peaceful panel,
Keith,
you don't attack people coming up in peace because you have past incidents with them. You instituted the
brother,
past
Don't
by
tell me how to behave. Look,
bringing it
what
up
are you
without even
doing?
letting me speak.
Hey,
you've got
so what
rage
is your
just
point,
below
dude?
the surface all the fucking time, dude.
Yep.
What's below the surface? What'd you say below the
Yeah,
surface?
and if
Wizard's
you don't
rage. He's
know
pretending
me,
like
you
he's
wouldn't know
LARPing you.
why I have that rage.
I don't
Hey,
give
Keith.
a fuck why you have it.
Right.
No,
Rage
And
no.
this
is
is
what you
part
said.
of your
I'm telling
problem,
you true.
Keith.
I tell you
Hey, Keith.
firsthand experience.
Keith,
I don't care
please
about your rage.
yield. Would you guys please? All right. This is where my frustration, when I'm trying to get order and I'm still being ignored. It's not just being excluded from the conversation. It's this, Keith, I'm glad to hear, and I am not dismissing the growth I've seen from you, but you have an unaddressed rage that is just right beneath you. And please hear me out. That's why you found reasons and you think, and here, brother, let's step back, okay? I understand and I respect. I don't want to host this and have people disrespecting each other. That's not my intentions, but I do not control others.
Exactly.
But Keith, now, for the love of God, try to consider my life and the Paul Unslaved platform.
Okay, and
try to consider your part in the exact same thing you're complaining about. You see the hypocrisy of yourself?
I don't go up on his panel. I don't go up on his panel and attack people as soon as they come up. I don't do anything.
Really?
Your background is making you
talk shit.
Wizard.
I am saying I do talk shit. Okay, that is understood. But I don't do the attack. I don't do the attack without having a reason.
Hello. Bullshit.
I didn't either.
I'm calling that false.
Listen.
Hey, I'm going to thank you, Keith. Your audio is horrible. I don't want this to turn into another pissing match. I'm not really sensing a real intention to resolve more than just be right. So,
and his
bit of both, probably.
Keith, your internet's not strong enough for that background.
Yeah, maybe you need to just kill your icon and we could probably hear you better. You're popping and lagging.
Might just be his brain.
Guys, whoops, we got Nubs. I have no intentions of bringing you back, bringing you to the panel. So you can go on with your life. I really don't care what you do. Steve, how you doing, brother?
My ninja.
Hey, what's going on, Jack? I've been watching for, 20, 30 minutes of the traditional loop, if you don't mind, just immediately I like to jump in with Wizard talking about Flow State, making a comment about his appearance and being upset about it. But yet he doesn't say shit about Paul when the first thing he does is come in and just obliterate other people. You know what I mean? So it kind of seems, that friendly there. But, back to Snafu when he was talking about, Paul saying, that anybody on the panel, they have no goals, this and that. And Paul totally denied it. There's a link in the chat where I actually clipped it, and he literally says it. So he literally said that everybody. It's right, yeah, a couple times. So it's this is my problem is that he's saying too much shit. And he just doesn't know what the fuck he's saying, and he can't remember literally 5 seconds ago what he just said.
So this is where all the faggots hang out.
It's really go there. So, you know what I mean? I don't understand even why you bring him up here and he does the same bullshit. You gotta want to just be so tired of it by now.
Well, and he's just completely fraudulent. I tried to tell him a few days ago he was mistaken about the stamp thing. I gave him the code. I handed him everything he needed to correct himself, and he just talks his shit and keeps lying. So,
wow.
Yeah,
I'm gonna share this if that's all right. I haven't seen it.
All right.
It's literally a clip about 10 minutes ago from your actual panel.
Give me the setup. What's your name, Steve? Can you give me the setup again? It's just Paul saying what?
Typical Paul bullshit.
Which is
he's the only one with goals, and nobody on the panel up here has goals, and blah blah blah.
Okay.
Snafu called him about it. He's like, "That's not what I said," and then he went on a whole other tyrant and clearly clipped it. And he literally said, "Nobody on this fucking panel has goals," just like Snafu said, but he denies it. So
I'm not sure he denied it. He said that Snafu threw in me and someone else, and he wasn't including us. I think he was saying, I'm including the rest of you do not have goals. I think he stood on what he said. But go ahead.
Peak confidence with myself and who and what I am, at least internally, if not externally. That's why I see the opposite with a lot of folks here. Because they're not doing that process.
So no one else has achieved their goals, Paul, right? No one else.
I don't see anyone on here actually setting any goals or working toward achieving anything of.
It's interesting because you cowered out to Monograph when he.
Is that not clear enough?
Yeah, who all was up there? I was trying to see. It was like 6, 7 niggas up there. He was talking about having no goals.
But no, hey Jack, I'm out. I just wanted to point out those two things. Keith, I don't know why he's upset about Flow State talking about his appearance, but yet he doesn't have shit to say about Paul, and that's all Paul does. That's his business model. And then of course Paul just manipulating the situation and being a hypocrite of what he says. So, but hey man,
good
I know you're
point.
having a rough night. I can see it on your face. Do a little bit of that. Try to make some fun of it. But hey, we'll see you guys later.
Later. That's a good
Blessing.
point.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. This has become an interesting part of my life, admittedly.
What part?
This YouTube, social media stuff, trying to become more vocal about what I believe and what I can see happening in the world.
Yeah.
This is a new experience for me.
Yeah. We're gonna stumble through it. Yeah, we all are.
Well, and that's kind of what is so, in some ways, so frustrating, is that many people are on this similar path, and yet they go out of their ways to bitch and complain and
That
make
is
your life
interesting.
harder. It's like,
that
what
is
the fuck are
interesting.
people
You're
doing?
like, we're fucking teammates. Why are we even fucking arguing here? Yeah.
I've got a
Can we highlight that comment before it gets deleted?
Which was it?
Heckle buses right there. It's probably blocked from YouTube, actually. Probably got auto blocked because it's got a couple F words in it. No, not that one. All right, never mind. He put 39 USC 101. Dumb fuck postal policy. Hey, man, look, Keith, this is your area of expertise, not mine. So, if I actually tried to present it to you in good faith in a way that was relatively subtle, so that you could fix your own mistake, but you have no intention of doing that at all. You're quite angry about that.
He's a fascinating guy. He was right. He said something right about we need to respect each other. We shouldn't be talking shit about each other. And yet that's exactly the role he's been playing. I mean, it's the ego reveals itself. When we are accusing, when you're pointing the finger, there's 3 other fingers pointing back at you, right? You gotta do yourself.
That's why drill sergeants use spear hand.
What?
Whenever drill sergeants are pointing at you, they use their open palms, so they're not pointing any fingers back at themselves. That's why they do that. Oh, you guys don't know. Jack does.
But okay, Tom, you're a patient man, but seriously, you were one of the people too, Tommy, where I was considering I may have to push away people I love.
Oh no, I'll walk away, but I wanted to just tell you I see a parallel with us, Jack, where yes, I did get into this video game out of coarse rancor for my enemy. And like you, Jack, if I want to go on to do something different with my YouTube videos, I'm not going to be able to hang out with the same old people like trolling me and edging me on. It'll just reflect in the content. So if you want to find your panel stride, it's like you're not going to get healed in the trap house you got sick in.
I hear you.
Tom, the way you say things sometimes is just fascinating.
Fascinating.
Your stories, dude.
Yep.
Hey, where this is going to go, I do not know.
Every day.
Well, this is what I realized the other day. This is not my life anymore. This is God's life. I've stopped fighting.
Our life.
This is God's life. I've stopped fighting. So
no, it's your life.
The future will be whatever it is, and I'll just be me wherever I go.
Yeah, but you got free will, so it's not.
Well,
God gave you life.
Well, that's what he basically said. He's going to do him what he feels is right.
Right. I
That's
just
what you
clean up.
basically
I
said,
just
right, Jack?
clean up the "this is God's life" thing.
Well,
I just
no,
clean that
it
up a
is,
little bit.
Tom. It is God's life when I no longer care what I want. I don't want anything more than I pray to be worthy wherever God takes me.
Men make plans and God laughs. I think that's what Jack is saying. That's
Well, Tom
Proverbs
says a
3:5.
plan.
Trust the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding. If you're not religious, take it as poetic. And if you are, you know what that verse means.
Sounds like a
Right. And
gaslight.
it's like, what weight does it have from Mr. Everyone's a pedo?
Well, most of the people I say have admitted or I have receipts, and I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, when
Right
you
now.
say
He's
admitted, you
trying to bait me,
say,
Jack, and I'm going to
by
beat
your
shit.
perception, as I perceive it, everyone's in pedo.
Tom.
Am I wrong, Jack?
Hey, tell you
Well,
what.
you are the one who
Hold
was
on.
with a minor and admitted it.
I want to change the topic and direction. Someone's
Who's
got
got
a
a
dog.
tiny dog?
I'm sorry, that's over here.
Joe,
And
what
Spy-
an embarrassing sounding dog.
And your little
That
dog,
thing's
Joe,
too.
yeah, I was going to say, what you got, Chihuahua? Or what the hell, Joe Cool? Joe Cool got the
Sly,
little dog.
Sly, you've been patient. Please, welcome.
I like to say hi to all you guys.
Hi,
Hi, and Fly.
Fair warning, Sly Shy. In the
Now,
picture where I have...
now to defend your daddy. Now that you said hi, defend your daddy.
Hello, why do y'all have to do that?
I was trying to talk
Sound
to
like,
you.
yeah, but Snafu don't want you to talk to me because
Yeah, he's a
talking
degenerate.
about.
I
He's
don't
talking
want
about
them to talk to you.
your daddy.
When did I say that?
I mean, you just started talking over
Go ahead.
Tommy.
Go ahead, Sly.
I just want to understand that. I just want to understand why you think that I'd be disrespectful to you.
That's what she's here for.
I want to know why you think I'm disrespectful to you, Jack.
Well, I saw a brief conversation earlier where you denied the description of gossiping. You call it clowning. You're clowning, Sly. It's not funny, and it's quite insulting, disrespectful. It shows the character of you.
Okay. So when comedians clown and tell jokes and might point out people in the audience and clown them, that's not good.
A good rule, and it's not 100% solid, Shy, when you're doing a comedian, if it's not funny to the person there, the joke is meant for, then it's probably not funny. That's
Okay, it might not be funny to him, right?
How about
but
this,
it's funny,
Sly?
but it's funny to me.
Hey, Sly.
That's possible.
Right. So in that case, you're the audience for your comedy. Okay, so you're using
Right,
me.
I am.
Right. So Sly, your selfish behavior of thinking only for yourself and your comedy and the comedy of others while you're clowning around on Jack Talcott's name. Have a good day, sister. Thanks for asking.
Do you remember what the joke was? Was it funny?
Dude, it's been many. Her and Moose and all these other
I know they're the
nubs.
The ducklings.
Yep. Hey, I've got another question.
You're gonna have a
here.
lot of them. Are we gonna
Hey,
we could run
bear
through
with-
all of them every day, I guess.
Bear with me just a moment here. I'm gonna see if this
characteristics of a typical bully.
Stephen Q.
Yo.
Is this Moose again?
Is this where all the whiny bitch?
Fucking clowns, man. See, these are
At least Moose is amusing. Like
You
Sly
think
Shy's
so?
not entertaining at all. Moose was
No.
is amusing though.
I don't find Sly funny at all, actually.
She's not.
Yeah, that's what he says. He's not.
Oh, yeah. She's in the back waving her fingers.
All right,
Hey,
maybe we should let her have a chance.
Yeah,
to
bring me back up. Yeah.
1 second, Shy.
Be
1
funny.
second.
No.
Wait, not be funny. Yeah, 1 second, Shy. Jack, you said that she's disrespectful, blah, blah, blah. I don't watch her in them other places. If you can give her a little leeway, I'm a quick study and I could probably see it for myself. If you know, decision's up to you. As long as you're letting her up, give her a little leeway and let me I'll determine very quickly if she's trying to be disrespectful. At least I think
I think, you know what?
Come on, Joe. Come on, Joe. We done been on panels together and everything way before we met Jack. So
Well,
don't
I'll
try
be
to get up
honest
here.
with you.
Don't
I'll
be
be
trying to
honest
get up
with
here
you,
and
man.
act like. Don't
I'll
be
be
trying to
honest.
get up here and act like that we knew to each other and you got to
No,
figure some shit
I
out.
don't mean to act like that. I'll be honest with you. I assume that these two are correct and you're making fun at Jack's expense. That's my assumption going into this.
All right, let me say this, and I'm gonna say this to you, Jack, because no disrespect, right? When Jack first started coming on the panels and stuff, I loved Jack. I was supportive of Jack. But soon as I gave my honest opinion, Jack called it disrespectful.
That's honest, Shy. That's honest, Eddie.
And she's been out to mock me and punish me and get retribution.
I clown
everything.
Joe.
How
I clown
dare I
hosting.
insult her? She's
Jack,
gonna
Jack.
fucking ruin
Sly Shy,
my
weren't you gonna
name.
be funny? Hold on, I want to clown her for a second. Sly Shy, can you tell a fucking
Bring me
joke?
back up.
Can you
Bring
be
me
funny?
back up.
Be funny.
Yeah. I'm gonna be funny. I'm gonna be funny. You a hoe. You a hoe. That's funny.
It
to
was
me.
funny when Moses.
To me. To me. You're a
Why
hoe.
am I the only
To
one laughing?
me.
I'm laughing because you're angry.
Yeah,
but
Who
you're
cares?
yelling
I'm not
shit.
angry. I'm not
how
angry. That's what y'all want to do. Wait. That's what y'all want to do.
careless.
Y'all want to
You're
paint the
careless.
black woman as somebody
Oh,
angry.
it's a race.
I'm not
That's it
angry.
now.
I'm having fun. I love this. I love
Right.
Jack. I've
You're
only
egoic.
Yeah, they
You're
try to paint me
egoic.
angry all the time. On what you say, they try to paint me angry too all the time.
Hey guys, here's a simple thing I've learned for myself, right? When my ego's in control, I can't shut my mouth, right? I always got the thoughts running in my mind
Yes,
when the ego is in control.
I'm with
So
Yeah.
when we're dealing with each other, when that mouth just won't stop, they're detached. They're looping.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, it's
So-
and that would hold true because there are a lot of people who talk over you and stuff. That's their ego. They think they're fighting. That's their fucking ego. You're just having a conversation, but in their head, they're battling for their fucking life. It's ego.
Actually, Joe, you're right. The ego is battling for its life when their beliefs are threatened. When the beliefs are
they lose it, yo.
Well, Sly right here. For if she comes on it, when she looks at herself honestly from an outside perspective, you know, like someone who is detached and may just see two human beings, she'll see the disrespect she's offered to herself and to me and to many others. So to be confronted about that, lots of arguments, lots of resistance, deflection, you know, flip the verse and start accusing. It's this egoic pattern that honestly, guys, I understand it. I don't know how to break it alone. I don't know how to connect to anyone.
People have to decide to, or life will do it for them. Like I don't think any of us have the capacity nor the gumption to do something to someone bad enough to break their ego. You kind of have to get fucked up.
I'm sorry, this distracted me. It's coming from Salty saying never seen Sly Shy be disrespectful. Salty, you don't see yourself either. So many people Oh my goodness. Praise be. So what? I'm open. I've here right now. I've got Snafu in the back where I trust his heart. He's not here to really attack, but
Listen, I can give you
or-
snafu usually is okay depending on the chemistry. Haven't you learned that yet? Depending on
Yeah.
who you put, snafu could go one way or another. You put him and
Actually-
Tommy, you're gonna get fucking fireworks.
If we could just turn down
You're
Snafu's mic like 20 points to like 80% or something.
Hey,
I
I'll turn it down right now.
Yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to say that was really a cheap shot and Sly using the black card. Does she not know Joe Cool's sitting here next to us? I mean, if Joe Cool's white, going on, I don't know. I just want to say that was not cool.
I didn't say it as that either.
It's not. It's not. I mean, it's not like I haven't had that card played on me before. I recognize it for what it is.
And neither
But
one of those
she hit
guys
both
reacted.
of them, right? It was the black and the woman card.
And neither one of those guys reacted, which I thought was great. I didn't have to say a fucking word because you guys didn't take it seriously.
Right. They handled it appropriately.
guys, in honestly, I really don't I don't like having conflicts and disagreements with people.
We
I really
we
don't.
know, Jack. That is your defining characteristic, bro.
Well, we don't know, but we hear.
you can talk, right? I've still got Keith, a man I admire, but I've not been able to
You do?
communicate past
Don't
his
worry.
anger. He's still in the back, and Sly was just here, but she's chosen.
I think he's trying to bit. That's why he's dressed up like you today.
I was gonna just about to say, if you invite Keith, you might want to drop snafu. No
I'll be quiet.
disrespect.
No, I'll be quiet because I want to see what Jack says he respects Keith because Keith has shown no respect to Jack. I'm just curious in that conversation how that'll go.
He didn't show respect in that comment he put up, but up here on panel he showed respect.
He's still doing it, but I am curious about what it is about Keith. Like one thing that you respect.
He does, while he doesn't always bring relevance and context to what he says, the man carries a lot of wisdom within him, both
course.
scriptural and the worldly
He
wisdom.
got us beat
He
in
doesn't.
many
You
places.
didn't look at what the link I posted earlier about Cornell Law. He doesn't. He brings bullshit. And he brings
Well,
bullshit. Call him on it. He jumps to something. He goes from legal to
He
business.
can flex.
I hear you. I hear you.
Here, in his defense, maybe there's a specificity or a detail that gets missed, but I trust that man. He has dedicated a lot of time.
right there.
What's that?
That's the grift. What you just did there, where like, well, I don't know all the parts, but I trust him. That's exactly the whole.
Woo! I understand what
Ooh.
you're saying, Flo. Wow.
Mr. Flo.
Yeah, he said he calculated that into it.
Right.
His shit.
Well, he
Tell you
planned
what.
for that. That's the strategy.
Hey guys,
That's heavy.
here's where my mind is at. 2 hours, I think that's pretty comfortable. Maybe 2.5, 3
I
hours.
just got
Okay.
here. I'm okay with
He
a
just
little
got here.
longer,
I feel
man.
like we're just getting into the groove now.
I do.
You're
too.
rocking it out, Talcott.
I'm laying out my thought process.
I'm
we can
sorry.
keep this. I think we've got a great energy and some. We've got dynamics. You know, we're not all agreeing
Yes.
on
Yes,
most
yes,
things.
yes.
I think we could have some continuing great conversations.
Mm.
In the back, though, I do still have Miss Sly and
Yeah.
Mr. Keith.
You might have to do them one by one.
One at a time.
Snafu, got to hold to your word. And when you bring Keith, understand that him and Flo have something going on there. You may need to let them give back and forth. I'm sorry, I'm gonna mute. That's the dogs outside again.
Please.
Joe's Cool's Chihuahuas are going crazy.
Keith, thank you for your patience, brother. And
Thank you.
I do trust we can communicate. We can understand each other. I don't know how to say it other than to say it, though, but between the two of us, it's been you that's been wrong. I'm the advice
both been
that you
wrong.
got
We've both
upset.
been wrong. We've
Okay,
both.
I will agree to that. I will
Thank
agree
you.
to that. We have
That
both
little bitty
grown.
dog barking in the background. Who little gay dog is?
Coming from Joe. Keith, What do we do?
Well,
I
first,
believe we can do
first,
greater things in the world together.
well, first, let me address the thing with flow state. Flow state, you keep trying to throw up 18 USC 501, which is criminal penalties for postage stamps and meters. And then when you look at the 39 US code and the 39 CFR, we're talking about postal policy. It is not law. You show me a policy. You show
US
me
code
a law.
is law.
Let me
This is the
finish
law.
again. You show me a policy. You show me a law. I will show you both the contract and the contracting parties in trust, leaving me out of it, proving that if it's in trust and the two parties are already named, the grantor and the trustee, then I must only be the beneficiary. If I can go through life looking at everything like that and not placing liability, but just saying, yes, I agree and I accept, then that's the easiest way I've found. And like I said, Jack, I have been communicating with the Postal Service up and down the line. And it is a matter of communication. Listen, it is not a matter of one communication. It's a series of communications, just like any other developing country. It does not happen overnight. It's a matter of establishing one's principles.
No,
That's
it's
it.
not. That's word
Yes, it
salad.
is.
That's
All right,
word
let
fucking
Flo go
salad.
for a little while, Keith. The Flo, did you
Okay.
understand that and do it? Did it?
Yeah, I understood what it.
all
I mean,
right.
I didn't understand it because it doesn't make sense. It's word fucking
Right.
salad. He's being opaque on purpose. 18 USC 501. This is U.S. code. It's the law from Cornell Law's website. The very first paragraph: whoever forges or counterfeits any postage stamp, postage meter stamp, or any stamp printed upon any stamped envelope or postal card, or any die plate or engraving thereof. And then at the bottom, and then it goes through some more things, but shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 5 years or both.
Flow State, you got to understand the wizard has dreams about Donald Trump and stamps, so it's pretty serious when he gets into postal talk.
Yeah, I know
Not
it's serious.
a card,
So,
not a card, not an envelope. Specifically, a
Please don't do
manifold
this again.
dispatch.
Please
If
don't.
you
can call
don't
it a
understand the
manifold,
terms,
you
if you
can call
don't
it a
understand,
manifold.
Please don't. Thank you.
Yeah,
I don't
he's
want to
playing
go.
word games because he's a fucking liar, like I was saying.
Well,
That's the
I
dog.
don't even really understand what he's trying to like prove or point. I really don't, to be honest with you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't
Actually,
understand
here,
it.
I think Paul just kind of.
I know Paul covers
clicked
for
for
Wizard
me.
and Wizard covers
Well,
for Paul. It's just,
code is not law. It's the code that governs the U.S. corporations and its
what? No,
agents.
it's not. It's the law. It's federal law. This is U.S. code is federal law.
That's what I understood it. But you
Yeah,
know what?
'cause that's what it is.
Hey guys, here's what we do understand. There's a lot of people who know the details and the ins and outs, but those who know the details and ins and outs can show the laws are corrupted. Okay, it doesn't fucking matter what these things say. We are living in an unjust society because people have lost their way.
But it does matter if you're intentionally misleading people on the law and then they fuck up because of
Yeah.
that. That's corrupt as well.
That fair enough.
I guess it
You're
would kind of be like
There
the
is-
insurance thing, you know. Insurance, you know. I don't know. I guess some people have their, things that they are really into, like the postal with Wizard, me and the Pogos, Paul, and he's better than everyone. I get it.
Well, here's what I've said this before, and to me, it's pretty clear, especially in my life experience of the past and today. Language, the use of language has really confused people from the Bible and from the laws. And we can simplify it by becoming good human beings, becoming right with ourselves, right with each other, becoming, well.
All right, Jack.
we're
Normally, I
following
think
the way.
that's a diversion, but I got to give it to you. I think there's some truth in that. If we were walking in true and being that person, then when we have the same goals, like these people have knowledge that I could benefit from. It'll never happen because of all that bullshit, ego, blah, blah, blah. If we were the people we supposed to be, I supposed to be get up here, Wizard and Paul, and explain that shit to me because I am woefully inadequate. But so much shit comes in the way because we're not ready yet.
You know, when Wizard, he is understanding on the language thing. I give him that 1,000,000% because our language, especially English language, was ritualistically put in place on purpose. Like, for instance, basketball courts, team players, right? Courts. Okay, now think about the same thing: team players and courtrooms. You know, I saw this video. It's on the YouTube channel Video Advice, really good channel. Sometimes I feel. And they talked about the English language and some of the breakdowns of where it does in political society as far as like the court systems or law, but it's the language itself broke down. It's kind of like the messaging, as I say, with the Statue of Liberty. It really is the statue of Ishtar. You know, if you to look at the picture side by side, Statue of Liberty is Ishtar. And again, the English language was also put in place using these messaging that certain people could see. You know, so I do give Wizard that. I do know he knows the language parts and sees it through that. I do give him that.
Yes, that's clear. What's interesting to me, and this is just a troll in me or something, is that dude is saying that he intentionally uses these gifts to obfuscate, and he said something to the effect of, yeah, pretty much he obfuscates on purpose. That's interesting. I'm sorry.
Jack, I'm not responding to any more of Paul's stuff. I responded to the first chunk, but I told him until he apologizes for calling me a slave and says please, I'm not addressing his shit anymore. So,
man, hey, fair enough. These are good questions. I mean, I respect the ego.
You want to act like you're 5? I'll treat you like you're 5. You know.
Yep. And for whatever reason, that's the character that Paul has chosen to play. I've seen him be authentic on occasion.
You have. So, I mean, it's just strange that he talks so much shit on his terrible dad, but he acts like somebody who needed to have his ass whooped more.
Well, here, let's change it back. Change it back to the codes and the laws and
I'm glad you showed that comment because Paul had a good point with the legal, lawful, blah blah blah. But if he's backing up Wizard, it would appear that flow state is right, and that Wizard even thinks it's law.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's funny because you know, we talk about all these policies and guidelines and laws, and some of them we are going to go against, but some of them we comply to. For instance, Paul complies to the YouTube guidelines and policy, right? I'm on channel 13. He's protective of that. So when do we, like, what is the choice? Like, which law? You get what I'm saying? Like, where we go back and forth.
You know what? Hold on. Thank you. That's actually the beautiful question. That's one of the things where Paul and I actually haven't even talked about is this idea of exercising your rights. At what point is that done, right? Really, your rights are, you are free until such point as your freedom is threatened or challenged, unless you believe otherwise.
But we've got two different levels of discussion on law, right? Because one is what is the law, and then the other is what is ideal. You know, one's philosophical and one is structural.
Okay. All right. So
I think people choose convenience, in my opinion. I think especially with the uprising of people waking up to this, I feel people choose convenience, which ones they want to go after and which ones they're going to comply to.
I would like to know legal, lawful, because I got two in my head. Lawful under God, but I don't think that's what Paul is talking about here. I think he's talking about distinction between something that Congress made and maybe somebody that hasn't passed by law made, you know, like a case law or however they get around the fucking law nowadays.
Throughout time, man has defined a lot of different things for us, including all of these laws. For me, there is one law, God's law, natural law. And that natural law is, well, for a man, for a human, it's following the example of the Christ. And the world brings us, well, it brings us oppositions, it brings us challenges, it brings us the opportunity to be refined and improved. But man's laws, man's corruption has created the legal maneuvering that has us paying for everything on top of paying for wars.
Paying
It's
for
insanity.
I said paying for whores. I was texting. I was like, hey, that's a good conversation. Hey, what I miss?
John Thomas.
How you doing, brother?
Well,
Can I just say boo-hoo to Flow State?
Why would you say that to me?
Why are you? What is your purpose?
You think people owe you an apology? Remember?
Yeah, I do. I'm not going to deal
the
with
last
it until he
time
apologizes. Well, I mean, I'm okay with having this.
Are you? I'm
don't okay with it, but if you don't
I'm curious what he's going to say.
Sorry for interrupting, John Thomas.
It's last time I was in here asking for an apology. Flow State told me boo-hoo if you think anybody owes you an apology.
But that was
maybe
different.
It was true, but see, the situation now is that he's continuing to try to talk to me. He wants something from me, which is an interaction. I don't want to give it to him. So really, I'm saying, no, I'm not dealing with you. But if he can sack up and apologize for being a douche, then I'll concede and I'll deal with him. That's the exchange I'm offering.
He is saying, I don't feel like I need an apology or something. I am trolling this dude, and making him do a thing.
In a way, yeah.
The situation was completely different, John.
Well,
completely.
And so let me get this straight, John. Are you here for what reason? To be an advocate for Paul?
No, I'm just.
What
I'm
did
just
you want
hearing
to apologize
or to criticize Flo?
To criticize Flo.
What do you gain? What do you? I appreciate the honesty.
Oh, good question, Zach. Go ahead.
What do you gain, or what is to be gained by criticizing Flo for a choice he made within? Does he owe explanations to you for something?
Yeah, what do you gain? Leave it there. What do you gain for criticizing Flo?
I just think it's curious that he can be owed apologies, but I was criticized for thinking I could be owed apologies.
So you're just curious.
So you felt jealous?
I was just curious as to how he comes to that.
I don't even remember what you wanted an apology for. What was it?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Do you remember?
I remember.
Yeah, I remember.
This is gonna be funny if you don't. Do not.
I remember what I was saying. I owed
right, and it was a totally different situation. You were upset because you felt you needed and wanted an apology over something that was just ridiculous. Flow State just told you that Paul's wanting something out of him and the way he's treating Paul. No one treated you bad. You just didn't agree with what we were saying, and you wanted that apology from us.
Damn,
yeah, I wanted an apology from Moose and from Snafu. The last time I was in the panel,
John.
I had to go. Both of them was trying to run me out, call me fake Christian, everything else.
Was that here?
Yeah, that was
on this platform, my stream. Does any of this have anything to do with the topic or me? Or
Yeah,
are you just here to offer criticisms because you saw the opportunity? Can you see how selfish that might sound?
It's certainly it would appear to be like you got drama with someone else. And I don't mean as harshly because I don't know you, and you bring your drama over to Jack's show. Bitch ass nigga in my bedroom when you see your enemy. That's a little, not okay.
Well, no, I accused Jack of letting them railroad me out of town. So it did have something.
All right, so it does.
Okay, so are you here to resolve with me or just to offer disrespect and criticism? What is your purpose, John Thomas?
My purpose was to find out why he's entitled to apologies and I'm not.
Okay, but you're not offering any reason. What's the incentive? What is the purpose? What is your purpose?
To point out you guys' hypocrisy, apparently.
to
That's
understand
what.
why he's
But
better
John,
than
So
me.
what? But this
would
has
that
nothing to do
be?
with Jack Talcott, his show,
No.
anyone on this panel. You came
No,
here to
it
just
did. No, it
just
did,
talk
Snafu.
shit.
No.
And again, the
do you
reason we didn't
understand the
apologize to you is
difference?
because you were saying, "Oh, we're running you off," and everyone was like, "No one is telling you to leave. You're
You were
putting that
telling.
narrative."
No, brother. You told Jack Talcott, why are you having this guy here? He's a fake Christian.
Right, but
Remember
do
that?
I control Jack Talcott's buttons
You were
and do I
telling him
control
what
his
to do.
computer?
We just
I guess
encourage
I
you to
do.
bring
Tell you
Jack
what,
up.
hey guys, hey guys, may I offer this? How about, you know, what can we do from here? John, do you feel that you're owed an apology at this moment? Is there something still lingering that you feel unresolved, or can we talk forward? Because I'll wait for your answer.
Please say no, John. It's a setup. You're gonna get jumped if you say yes.
Do I feel I'm owed an apology?
Yeah.
I
Is there
wanted an
anything?
apology. I'll admit, yes, I wanted an apology.
Do you still want an apology, and if so, from whom?
Mainly you, I guess, because I
Okay,
was getting
from me.
the biz from them and you did nothing, and here I am getting shut down now.
Today or in the
Yeah, it
past?
seems like it. It seems like
Okay.
it's
Well, here, John.
a
So
protected
you want
class.
How
so
is
you
he
want
shutting you
me
down?
hold on. So you
It,
want me to apologize to you for allowing you on this stream to bring criticism to Flow. So you chose to click the link to bring criticism to Flow, but now you want me to offer you an apology for not backing you up on that. Is that what I understand from you?
he wants the
I don't.
apology because some people dog him, and
Right.
apparently, okay, I missed that
But
part.
it's kind of going all over the place. First it was me, then it was Moose, then it was Flo, and now it's
Yes.
on Jack.
Yes. So here, how about this, John Thomas? God bless you, my brother. And I'm calling you a brother with that idea, okay? Brother in Christ. So we've had some confusion and, the ego desire for an apology, wanting to be seen, wanting to be respected and acknowledged. That's really what brought us up. But behind the ego desire to bring criticism and to receive being made whole, there's a spirit that brought you. And if I remember right, John Thomas, you're a very well-read man of the Bible. You've spent time studying that, committed yourself to it, right?
Yes, sir.
Amen. So what can we do? What can we do? What can we do from here? I think we're all grown men. We're tough enough. We can pull up our little panties and we can get over our snivels. We don't need apologies from everyone.
All right, I
But
was gonna leave it alone. Let me go. Fuck it. I was trying to leave it alone, but fuck it. Since you kind
Oh shit.
of,
I had a
John,
butt in there, Joe.
John,
Go ahead.
You're a Christian.
No,
Why
sir.
is it?
No, sir.
Oh,
Christians
I'm sorry.
follow Paul of Tarsus.
I
So
apologize.
why would you get
I
offended
thought you were
if people
Christian.
called you a fake Christian? You're not even Christian.
So yeah, you were
There we
using
go.
all sorts of things and saying things that you don't even know nothing about me, and you were
I
using that to
probably
railroad
had
me
reason
out.
to say them.
I
Okay.
follow the God of Moses.
What
Okay, I
that
don't
make
need
you
a
a
label
Jew?
like Christian.
I'm not good with religion, man. Does that make you a Jew?
No, sir.
Egyptian. I think it's Egyptian.
I don't follow Judaism.
I'm not good with religion.
What do you
The
follow?
Zionist ways.
Is there
Oh,
anything that you could
that's
tell me that I could relate to? And I know little about church and stuff. I don't know the difference between pastor, preacher, reverend. So is there something you can tell my slow butts that could tell me what your religion is, something that I would know? Or is it
just the laws of Moses.
just laws of Moses?
What is your religion?
Yeah,
Is there a name for the religion?
Here.
No, because they don't let you in if you do that.
If you do what? Name it?
If you follow the laws of Moses, you will not have an organization on your side. No. So I don't have one.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not
This is
sure
a-
it makes sense, but
I think I can get the concept. I'm not intimate with
If you
the
follow the
details
laws of
of the laws
Moses,
of
you
Moses,
can't have
but
a congregation. Explain that to me.
There's nobody going to be on your side. There's not Christian, Jew, Muslim, no one.
What about the other guy
right.
who follows the law of Moses? Is he going to be on your side?
I've been looking for them.
All right, here, I'm sorry,
So
but
this is
Joe,
one of those one person religions, huh?
you started with a question, and this conversation came out because he said he doesn't identify as a Christian. So he's obviously a man devoted to a God
The law.
and follows the laws of Moses.
I would think so. Yeah.
So
I want to question him on that law of Moses stuff. Isn't that the laws that say I got to stone my wife if she cheat on me type of stuff? That's what you're following?
That was a law given to the Israelites, yes.
So is that the
Wow.
law?
Damn, he can stone that bitch because nowadays it's 2023 and them bitches be cheating. So
Okay,
you can
so here
stone
we
your
go.
bitch, man.
Here we go.
Damn.
You're not welcome in any circle if you adhere to the
No,
law. This is what I'm
when
saying,
you make
Joe.
a statement,
No,
when you
no.
make a statement like that, you should be prepared to defend it.
I just
Relax.
told you, yes, I agree with those laws.
All right. So
See,
the
I'm
next
Right, and I'm saying
logical,
it's
the next
2023 and
logical.
bitches be cheating, so you can stone
I
them.
get you. I understand. You are flaming a bit. I understand. I think
He's a
that's what he's
victim.
saying.
That's what
I didn't make it up, Joe.
So I get that you didn't make it up, but most of us understand that, most of us believe that since Jesus came along, you shouldn't be killing someone because they worked on a Sunday. I've never
That's
heard a
Paul
person
of
say that
Tarsus
they
again,
believe
brother.
that.
Jesus
Excuse me?
didn't say any of that.
Hey, tell you what, John Thomas, I know that you and many people.
This is unproductive.
Well,
No, it's very productive. This is the first. I know nothing
when
about
you
this. This was
interrupted
great for
me,
me, John.
well, John, when you interrupted me, yes, that was unproductive. So, I'm not one to question beliefs, but are you open-minded or are you absolutely fixated that this is the only path for me and I don't need to look at or hear anything else? Where are you at on your commitment, John?
The laws of Moses was for a certain people who wanted to be circumcised.
Yeah.
And nobody else had to adhere to it. No.
Okay, but John, in this moment of today, regarding the conversation between Jack and John, does John have any interest in hearing concepts beyond what you already believe?
Oh, that's interesting. You hear the question, John? Okay.
I've got lots of interests.
Okay.
Do you believe in
Jack,
the
do
New
you have
Testament?
interest in what John believes? Jack, it's got to go both ways.
Well,
I love listening to Jack. Yes, sir.
the reason I ask that, John, is I shared in the private chat a link for a guy I've discovered. He's a young man named Joshua. His channel is Sons of God Ministries. He's done a lot of studying and I haven't investigated his sources and double checked his authenticity, but everything he presents makes sense as far as history and the interpretations. And he presents a case that many of the recordings and conversations with Yahweh, the sacrificial God of the Old Testament, may not have been the Almighty. It may have been misled, John. So I encourage you. I'd ask you to look that kid up and see what you think about what he says. Okay.
Okay. Could I request something too, that I
got
come
one
back and tell
question.
you what I think of what he came up with?
I
Sure,
would love
please.
to play a
Go
clip
ahead.
right now, but Jack probably ain't got it. Andy, and then have John.
John. So do you
comment on
believe in like ritual, like sacrifice of animals for prayer and all that? Like you don't believe in the New Testament at all? Like
Hold on.
you know.
He would snafu. He was going to respond already. John, please.
I just want to be allowed to come back and tell you my side of what this young man has found, and according to his. That's all I was saying.
Please. And I'd encourage you to look at. Here's where I'm at. Okay, I believe I understand where you may come from, and I honor faith, man. Even I honor faith and devotion to a creator. So
Same.
what I believe though is that all those rules, the Abrahamic traditions, and many of those the rules and the punishment were there to help us develop and to grow. But I truly believe that what Jesus brought was the new. It was the new application and an interpretation, the simplification of those rules. Love God and love one another.
I agree. If we could do those two things, then you would be in compliance. You wouldn't break any of the other commandments.
What about eating shrimp? But I mean, that
But he
wouldn't
didn't do
apply.
away. Sorry, Flo, what was that?
If you love each other and you love God, then you could still eat shrimp.
Gentiles could eat shrimp. That was fine. If you got circumcised and you ate the Passover, you weren't allowed.
I don't
It
know.
was for a select people.
I'm not even. I don't consider myself Christian or Jewish, so it's not really my dog in the fight. I don't think that. I think that just intellectually, you can't look at the New Testament and the Old Testament and say this is the same God. They're different gods.
Oh wow.
We were talking about the consent to be governed a minute ago. Paul was writing. Those people that consented to be governed by the law could not eat shellfish. They consented to that.
That is true.
It didn't force the whole world.
Consent. I mean, consent to law is something that doesn't really make sense. If you need consent for law, then nobody would ever have the law enforced upon them.
I don't know.
Hey, sorry to change this, but
No, you're good.
John, from a selfish thought, I would love to have a conversation with you to better understand. Not necessarily on air, but to better understand what you've learned and what you've committed yourself to.
On air. I want it.
Yeah, it's up to you. But
yes, I would love for you to tell me more about your beliefs. I'm just gonna pick them apart. I'm warning you, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but you may have to. That's my nature. But
yeah, I'm with you on that, Joe. Cool. It's kind of weird that you would go for the old and not understand the new. If you're even into that whole thing.
Well, I'm already making assumptions. I'm assuming you're not a fan of Jesus. Don't even believe in him, John.
No, sir. No, sir.
So you do believe in Jesus?
Absolutely.
Wait, then you believe in the stuff he said? Didn't he come to say, the Old Testament?
He said the Old Testament's done with.
Keep the
The curtain ripped, right? The temple split. No more sacrifices for prayer. But
what did Jesus say about that? That's what they do. What did Jesus say about the curtain rip?
Well, I mean, the New Testament's pretty clear on the old ways are no longer needed because he was sacrificed. According to the literature, he was sacrificed. That is the ultimate sacrifice, right? Him dying on the cross. I don't know. But I'm not going to argue because, like I said, it's so.
Someone for my sins.
3:5 is my go-to, whether you're poetry or not. Trust the Lord with all your heart, lean on your own understanding.
Snafu, please.
Lean not on your understanding. Solomon again, a child sacrifice monger, who you're quoting at me. So you believe in child sacrifice.
Wait, let's not jump to that conclusion, please.
I believe in child sacrifice.
That's
interesting.
John.
Leave Snafu out of it and tell us more about your beliefs and stuff.
Please
Christ never said. He didn't say. He said not one letter of the law would pass. It's other people that come and start talking about temple curtains ripping and quoting Paul of Tarsus, and it's brainwash.
I agree.
Wasn't it Jesus that said? Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you don't believe in Paul, why do you believe in any of the rest of the Bible? Because it was all compiled by the Catholic Church, and they chose to include Paul's
you don't believe in Paul's word?
Absolutely not. The Catholic Church came in and took the laws of Moses, took the book of Moses for their own purposes. Like you just said, Flo, it doesn't mean that Moses isn't correct.
Well, why do you think? Okay, that's fair, but why do you think then that he is correct?
Why do I think he's correct? I agree with those laws, Flo. They resonate with me.
All right.
And those laws,
I guess the old school shit is what he's saying.
I don't know which laws.
The 10
Commandments?
I mean, as I understand, they had like at times 600 different laws. You know what?
Yeah, they got
The
some really
Noahide
crazy
laws.
stuff.
You know, the Noahide laws are still implemented in the United States, whether people believe it or not.
That's Judaism. That has nothing to do with the laws of Moses.
What about
Right.
the what? It's not what goes into a man's mouth that defile him. It's what comes out of a man's mouth. How do you interpret that and right? I interpret that as it's not what you eat that makes you a shitty dude. It's the shit that comes out your mouth.
Yes.
Right. He's saying the unclean thoughts and feelings, they betray themselves with their words.
Right.
That's what's
But the
showing
first
that they're
part of that,
unclean.
the first part of that is he is saying it's not what goes into your mouth that defile it. And the old law would say you can't eat that pig or you're a shitty guy. And isn't Jesus saying, yeah, eating a pig ain't really what defiles you, is what comes out of your mouth.
I think that's a stretch, but they did try to you know.
Well, tell you what, there's the distinction I have, and one of the concerns I think is legitimate, is the distinction between that which is worshipped, you know, from the Old Testament to the New Testament and the various other religions.
I'm not sure I understand you so far.
Well, there's a version of a real punishing and you know, judgmental God that you've got to walk on eggshells.
Jack wants to take all the religions and mix them up and water them down and then put in more sugar, and then we're good to go.
We'll sweeten the Kool-Aid for everybody.
Let's take this and make it more pleasant.
Well, I think that's what the message is for. I honestly do. I think love is the answer. So our religions have taught us to believe in a God that we fear. Come on now. Yes, you can love those you fear, but
I always thought of that
if he says he believes in Jesus, though, Galatians 3:13 specifically talks about what I talked about, the blood, the sacrifice, which says the old ways are no longer done. That's what the sacrifice was for. So my question is, how do you still believe in Jesus when they're saying that the old is done? No more ritualistic sacrifices, no more, you know, like they said, the shrimp and all that. And I'm just going on the biblical.
No, stop there. That's great. That's
That's
great. I was trying to come up with a good. But did Jesus say the shell food shit and the other stuff that he said that's over with? How did you say that shit's not food? Then Jesus say that these things are the ancient rituals are no longer.
Galatians 3:13, the blood, the sacrifice. It was all after the sacrifice. Once the curtain ripped, the temple, the old ways were done. No more sacrificing the goats or lambs for prayer rituals, because the ultimate sacrifice was the Lamb of God,
what do you
right?
think, John? What do you say about that?
I would ask Snafu, what did Christ say about the Pharisees, brother? Can you remember that? I know you know Galatians well. What was his verdict on the
Go ahead,
Pharisees?
because I'm asking for your response. I know what it says. I'm just curious what your response to that.
Yes. Let's not
So
forget
you know a
that
lot
we're
about
waiting
Paul
on
of
your
Tarsus,
response.
and he told me that the Pharisees were blind guides who, if I don't surpass their righteousness, I won't enter into the kingdom. And what did Paul say? He's blameless in matters of the law because he's a Pharisee. Christ said, you make void the law for your tradition to the Pharisees. So you have a Pharisee in Galatians telling me everything you just said, and it don't make sense.
I missed it.
I'm even listening.
Somebody interpret that. I missed it.
Can I say something real quick?
Please, and let him rephrase or something. I didn't understand
Go
his
ahead.
point.
Go ahead.
I didn't understand what you meant by the Pharisee, how it related to the conversation, but I'm high. If someone else got it and can explain it to me,
this got pretty deep, and
I'm okay with deep. I'm okay with deep. I'm just high.
But I actually lost the relevance.
You too, then. Okay, all right.
Phariseeism is Judaism.
So what does that got to do with Jesus saying that away with the laws? Draw the direct line for me. Help me out.
He didn't say that. I'm saying
That's
he
what I
just
asked
quoted a
you.
Pharisee.
Thank you. That's what you're saying. He was just quoting someone.
Here,
He was quoting
if I may,
Paul of Tarsus, a Pharisee.
All right.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Tarek was waiting. This,
Yeah,
I'm sorry too.
No, you're fine. I want to ask something. You said you believe in Moses, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you believe in when a man rapes a woman, he has to give her 50 silvers and she becomes his wife?
So
Okay, this is a standard.
Don't give them ideas how to become rich.
No, hold on. Let's hear him out. Go ahead.
Okay.
I want to hear this logic.
Okay, Moses didn't put everybody under that standard, but an Israelite, yes. If there was a girl in the woods, if an Israelite let his girl run off in the woods and she get raped, then that man had to marry her, and he could never divorce her. Yes, everything you're saying, I agree with that.
So you'd be the
Don't let your
Israelite
girls go
in
running
this.
off in the woods and get raped.
You'd be the Israelite in this instance, or are you a different? The people
No.
follow Moses. Are you an Israelite? Or are you the other guy?
There are no Israelites, Joe.
Well, you told me you
Joe,
were
Follow
alone.
the law. We're all cut off.
Joe, I'm so sorry to interrupt.
No,
but
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
no, you're
I've been
fine. I
talking.
want to get. I'm going to his point. Okay, you said that in a way that it's like good. If a man rapes a girl, he takes her as his wife. How do you think the woman would feel that he raped her?
She can feel
raped her.
however she wants. She can slap him in the face. She can shit in his mouth. Never cook for him or
See?
nothing. Because
Okay,
he said he can never divorce her.
But don't your
That's not
law
the-
say he should marry her? She probably don't want to marry the guy who raped her.
Exactly my point. And usually, I'm sorry, Joe. Usually, the girl will have an abortion or not have the baby because she can't stand the man that raped her.
Right.
If he believes in that.
But can I say something, sir, about what
Of
you're
course.
saying? That law
Go ahead.
pertained to a girl who went out into the countryside, not in a city. If she got raped in the city and she cried out, we could kill his ass. Now, if she went wandering around where nobody knows what she's doing, and then she got raped, and there was nobody to help her, the law said that he had to marry her. He could
All right,
never
please
divorce
bring
her.
that into modern day equivalent. So that girl now would be the equivalent of what? Some girl goes out in the park, scantily clad, gets raped. She should marry the guy. She should not. Give me a modern day equivalent.
Well, modern day, Joe, it wouldn't apply to any of us because we're not Israelites. This is only to
All
an
right.
Israelite.
All right, and we don't have a
Israelite
name
had
for
to tell
us, and
his
you're
daughter
the only
this.
one.
I got another
I'm
question
not
for
an
you.
Israelite.
All right, go ahead.
I'm so sorry, Joe. I'm on this topic for a reason. So didn't Moses say, would you believe that if after they fought the war, he told them to go and kill all
Kill a
the
bunch of
boys,
people,
all the
yeah.
men, and even the girls, and just leave the virgins
Yeah.
to keep
Well,
them
no,
as
sir,
their wives?
No, sir. That's
No?
you're putting two different laws together there. No,
Hey,
you're confused.
hey, I got a question, John. What are you wearing? Are you wearing fabrics that are different? Because Leviticus 9:19 or whatever says don't wear anything that's different fabrics, all the same fabric. So are you
Yes,
wearing shoes? Are you wearing
I
socks?
think that's check
Are you
and
wearing
mate
jeans?
right there. Family, I don't know your religion, but I bet you one of your beliefs is you can't wear clothes. Or you maybe you're gonna tell me that's for
No,
the
it's like
Israelites or
they
something.
can't grow crops. Like the Old Testament, Leviticus, they talk about you can't grow different crops in the same thing. But one of them is you can't wear different fabrics. And
Well, you keep
if you
telling
are
us
following
that's for
Moses'
other
law,
people other than
then
him.
that means, and you're probably wearing shoes and socks and underwear, whatever. But you're obviously not
I'm
following
not an
Moses' law.
Israelite.
See,
Snafu,
you're
I'm
not
not
an
an Israelite.
I got
Nobody
another
is.
You
Has
follow
to be
those
Israelite. That's
laws.
Moses'
What
law.
laws
It's
do you
Leviticus.
follow?
So
tell me what laws you
this
do
doesn't
follow.
apply to you then.
I love the laws of Moses because that is what God's standard was, the highest one. I'm
Aren't
just
we talking
telling
about
you
the
that,
laws of
yes.
So what
Moses?
does that mean,
No.
John Thomas? Is this the 10 Commandments? That's what you follow?
Absolutely, 10 Commandments.
And what?
Okay. I'm sorry.
And
So
I'm
you're
sorry.
saying Leviticus, where they didn't grow or where they owned Moses, followed those. Those were the laws of Moses too. It's Old Testament.
That's what he told them they couldn't do. Yes.
Right. And so I'm asking you, if
Let me ask you this, Snafu. If those people were over there trying to keep their laws, would you be over there saying that's ridiculous? You can't.
I don't know what I'd be
Well,
saying because I wouldn't. Again, I would, the Old Testament, in my belief, would pass that. But I'm just curious because if you're following the laws of Moses, that means you're following the laws of the Old Testament, which very specifically, just like you talked about the raping one. But let's just go further about clothes, about fabrics. You're not supposed to wear different fabrics together.
Let's please.
Brother, I used to do that for years.
I got a
yes.
question. Might help us. I might got a question. Might help us. Can you tell us which laws of Moses you do follow, rather than us trying to whittle it down? Tell me
that's a good
some of the
question.
laws you do follow of Moses,
the
besides
ones.
the 10 Commandments.
Look, here's the thing. This is what Moses told us. If you wanted to keep the laws of Moses, if you wanted to be an Israelite, Deuteronomy, Exodus 12:48. You had to be circumcised and then keep the Passover. And then you were obligated to do all those things. I can't
So
go
these
eat the
are the laws
Passover,
you
or
follow?
I would.
These are the laws you follow?
I would, Joe. If I could go eat the Passover right now, I would. Then I would be
Which
obligated
laws
to
do you
everything
follow was
Snapper
my
just
question.
said.
And you just told me which laws you don't follow. Tell me the ones you do follow, which was the original question.
I would follow all of them.
Which do you follow now?
Where did you get this concept of just Moses' law? Because you said you haven't found anyone else following it. So did you kind of just come up with this on your own and start following your ideology, or how did this even become your belief system?
It's called reading the Bible, Snafu.
Okay, well, I've read the Bible and my belief system is not with you, and obviously you have a problem finding people with your belief system, not me.
That's because they're Galatians lovers.
Snafu, I'm sorry. Let me say something real quick. You said you follow the 10 Commandments, right?
Yes, sir.
Not to steal, not to rape, all that, right?
Yes, sir.
And then in Moses, it says when they fought the war, to kill everybody except the virgins, correct?
You're applying. Okay, no, it's not what it
Well,
says.
remember Moses killed someone and ran away too.
Yeah, no, I'm getting to a point. I'll tell you why. Go ahead, say what you gotta say.
That was not for me. It was for the Hebrew Israelites. He's got the same answer for everything.
No, that's not what I was going to say.
Oh, thank God.
Moses had rules of engagement for war. There was for a Canaanite. The Canaanites, they had to kill all those people. They were cannibals. They did everything God hates. They were the worst homosexuals. They were the worst rapists. They were the worst torturers.
So anyway.
He had to wipe those people out. Now, what you're referring to is if there was a country like the United States that injects children or does whatever they want to them, then Israel had to give those people a peace treaty and say, here's what you're going to do, is not do that no more. You're not going to change the sexes of children. You're not going to do all this. You're not going to do that. And then if they didn't adhere to that, Moses said, then they were obligated to come in and kill all the grown men and leave the women and the children. Yes, he did say that.
These are the laws that you follow?
That's the laws of Moses.
I mean, does that make sense, though?
I didn't realize Moses addressed trans.
I know. Does that make sense, Joe, that you have to kill innocent people like girls and leave the virgins? And if you rape somebody?
Yes, sir, he didn't say that. He did not say that.
I have it. I believe. I promise you, I have it noted.
So if you said you got this concept from reading the Bible, why did it specifically in your brain go, I'm going to follow the laws of Moses, which is one particular story, one character, one part of the biblical scriptures? Like, why was it that?
Can I actually,
told you, I resonate with those
before you
laws.
answer, I'd actually, for the life of me, I'm sitting here, I'm watching the stream kind of degrade and get out of control, just focusing in on religion. For the love of God, I would love people to ask me about my beliefs, why I say the things that I say about the praise of God, the love that God offers.
But we're
Doesn't
attacking
really
John.
require a ton of rules.
Okay, Jack.
Yeah, we see you every day.
What's your belief, Jack? What's your
God, bring
belief?
this back to Jack. Jack, why do you believe in what you believe?
Well, everything I've come to learn and trust resonates with what Jesus said and taught. The Father, that which is. It was very beautifully articulated and described through the Apostle Paul, his writings, his letters. The Spirit is real. The love of God is real. I trust, while I have no firsthand experience, I know for a fact miracles happen.
You have no first-hand experience of a miracle, really?
But Jack,
I just want to say, for those who are religious or just on that aspect, I tend to think a lot of people forget the Trinity: God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit.
All right.
And that's important to me, for those who do believe in, because people are always talking about Jesus or they're talking about God. Remember their Trinity: God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit.
Hey,
The Holy Spirit is
amen.
where your discernment comes from, right? If you're blessed with the Holy Spirit, your discernment is
Body, mind, and spirit. The body, the mind, and the spirit of Christ, of God, that's revealed through all of nature, and including us. We have a mind, a body, and a spirit of us. And not just the individual, but there's a collective spirit of all of us too. As we sit here, we carry the memories and spirits of our ancestors. Those who walked the places before us, who knows?
No, I think so. I don't.
But
What do I know?
Jack, another question for Joe. Wasn't Moses what do you call it? Illiterate?
Say
Are you
again?
asking me, sir?
Wasn't Moses illiterate? He didn't know how to speak anything before
Illiterate.
God. Yeah, before God gave him,
I believe Moses was illiterate. I bet you
Okay,
John
so
knows.
no, my
I
question
don't
to
believe
Joe.
that.
No, it wasn't. It's in the Bible. I'll read it to you. Even though I'm Muslim, I'll read it to you. Now, here's
Go
another
ahead.
thing. How long did it take? Didn't it take 100 years? Who wrote the the Torah for 100 years? Moses did.
What,
Moses
why is
wrote
this
Not,
a
Moses, yes.
question appropriate
that
for John?
that is not true. Look, read the Bible. If you read the Bible, you'll know that's not true because all the things you're saying, I'm just saying from my perspective, they're not true.
Okay, Tarek, you took us back to the
I'm sorry.
interrogating.
I'm sorry, Jack. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, but I know you want to talk about whatever you want, which is your broadcast. I get it. But
here, if I may, I'm sorry.
Moses grew up royalty, brother. He could read and write.
There's someone else here. Does anyone know a Katie Frye by chance?
No.
All right. This one's fun. Welcome, Katie. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Fabulous. You're not here to screw this up, are you?
I'm not sure what screwing it up would be because
Never mind.
I've seen
Hey,
madness go on here. So
welcome, Katie.
okay. So you said you wanted people to ask you about your beliefs. I mean, I'm willing to hear about them. If you'd like to, if there's any particular topic you'd like to discuss.
Mm.
Can I ask you a question about something, Jack? To get you up. Do you believe that Jesus said that the Israelites should not keep the laws of Moses? That's what I'm curious about your beliefs.
Who's asking me about that? John Thomas guy?
Yes. Yeah, that was John Thomas.
Actually, no, I don't believe a lot of the shit you said, actually. I think it's just really weird. I mean, John, if I were, so let's just say if I were to like go into the woods or something and rape you, say I take a stick and rape you, do you think that like you have to marry me? I mean, I'm just being honest.
No, that's very true. Go ahead. I agree.
Damn right, I'm
I'm
going to
sorry.
marry you.
Well,
You
for
can never
me,
divorce me.
hey John, as far as the Israelites,
Well, I wouldn't blame you for wanting to divorce me.
No, he wouldn't.
If you
That's-
He
rape me,
cannot. He cannot.
It's kind of hard to rape a man, though. I mean,
the one that did the raping can never divorce.
oh, we'll see what I'm saying. So
Does
that
it
means
say
I could be
that?
raping you forever in any way I want, using any type of tool I want. Could you imagine that? I mean, just
Unbelievable.
because it was a stick the first time, it doesn't mean the next time I'm not gonna, be
No,
using
that,
hey,
tool.
hey,
okay,
actually,
it doesn't mean that.
hey John, here for someone who claims to follow the laws, I want you to really consider, okay? The problem with laws is interpretations.
Okay.
Okay? There's
Glad you said that.
many interpretations to the laws, to the laws of Moses, to
But I felt
man's
like
laws.
John was being very literal when he said it. So that's why I said what I said, but I understand what you're saying.
I was being literal, Katie. I'm saying
We'll see.
if I raped you, I was forced to marry you. Even if you never let me touch you again, I could do nothing but
What do you mean
provide as
if
your
I never
husband.
let you touch me again? If it's rape, then I mean you could that's forcing yourself on me. I mean, so
That's
and you're a
right.
woman. I mean,
Meaning you can rape her every night now, I think is what she's
No,
saying.
in essence,
Great,
you
guys,
were her
guys,
slave.
I
we're
mean,
on
She
unless
didn't
of
have to listen
course
to you any.
whip out a knife and chop his dick off. I mean, I'm
Well,
not
I'm just,
advocating violence,
How
people.
about
I'm all for
Yeah.
the rule of law.
Yeah, I'm
how
okay
about
for a
Sort
subject
of.
change.
pretty
Something. Yeah.
zesty topic.
how about this?
Uh,
This is my
Okay.
criticism.
Well, we can talk about something else. Like I said, if Jack wants to spread his word of Jesus, I'm willing to hear it. We can talk about his beliefs. He said that he would like us to hear his beliefs. I'm certainly willing to listen.
Well, please and thank you.
You're
The
welcome, sir.
I'm curious
open-ended.
as to whether, Jack, you believe that
Nobody wants to
Jesus
hear you
told the
anymore. I was
Israelites.
talking to Mr. Talcott.
I was curious to know what Jack thought
John,
that Jesus told the Israelites not to
Mr.
keep the law.
Talcott, you control this panel. Could you please shut up, Moses?
I would like an apology for that.
Hey John.
Listen here,
Hey,
Mr.
John.
Felix, please. You won't be getting it from me.
Well,
Being a cry titty.
Please shut up, Katie, for me, Jack.
Katie.
Please shut up, Katie. She don't know the Bible.
well,
Oh, buddy, I don't know the
seeing-
Bible.
I'm
You don't know
seeing
the Bible
both
better
of
than I do,
you.
Please,
I'm sure.
please shut up.
I'll go blow it
Katie.
out your ass.
Katie, please
Yes?
yield. John,
Would you like me to quit using curse words, sir?
please.
Well, he was using the word rape. What's the difference?
I didn't appreciate it from either of you, to be honest. And
Well,
so, John,
thank you for calling out the hypocrisy, at least.
I was trying to ask Jack a question about his beliefs, and you keep
and
interrupting.
yet,
I was talking to Jack, and I asked him about his beliefs, sir, and you
and
kept
yet,
cutting me off.
neither of you will allow me to speak. You
Yes,
not
I will
see
be
your
quiet and allow you to
hypocrisy.
speak, sir, unlike Moses.
Actually, you have been interrupting both of us since you got here.
I'll be quiet now. Speak.
So, John, I will answer your question, but I want, what does it matter? Okay. What does it matter if I believe Jesus said something about the Israelites, or if he said something about the Israelites? what does all of that mean to us? Okay. So in my opinion, I don't know exactly what you're referring to in the Bible. I don't have it memorized. I know the stories and the meanings. But as I understand, we are Israel. We are those who become the followers of Christ, that
You get
it's
on my nerve.
opened up. I don't know what that was, but
That's the dog jumping in and out of the fucking bed. I'm sorry.
Here's where I'm at. I see us all as one. This nation state and Israelite or Jew or African or American or whatever, we are children formed from the same clay. You know, the same breath of life has been breathed into all of us. We all share this same gift of experience. So what is the law? Well, I truly believe love is the law. Love is open and honest and generous and fulfilling, and that's what is presented to us every day.
Who are the
Love.
Israelites in this thing? He said something about Israelites was supposed to keep the law. Who's the Israelites? Is that us? Is that holy people? Who's the Israelites?
There was the original Israelites, the original nations, I guess. The traditional Jews that were, as I understand, they were split apart. The nations were split. The Israelites were, the nations were split apart.
I don't know.
And Jesus came to break that, to overcome that divide anyway. He was here to treat the Gentiles and the Jews as one.
It would seem like he said a lot of stuff. I decide who I can make this rock a descendant of Abraham type of shit. If anyone tried to play that Jew Israelite card, it looked like he shot him down quick.
Jack, you talk about love and we're all one self, which I agree. But how could you love a person like Joe? How about if he rapes your daughter, okay? And with his laws, she has to marry him and have his baby. And how do you think that's going to go out? That's God? Do you think that's God?
Hold on. Time out. Can we use a different word? Can we drink more grape juice or something? We got to quit hammering the algorithm.
And I'd rather not be the cat in this fucking example for damn sure. But go ahead.
That wasn't the law, first off, brother.
Go ahead. Explain to me, if that was somebody's daughter and she got raped, how would you feel about it?
An Israelite's daughter, brother. That would only pertain to an Israelite's daughter.
I don't know. Who's the Israelite today, John? Is it me? Is it you?
I just told you, Joe, none of us can keep the Passover, so there are no Israelites. According to the laws of Moses, they're all cut off.
What do you mean no one can keep the Passover?
There were certain things we had to do. We had to go to the tabernacle. There was things you had to keep, or else God told you you're not.
So your religion is basically no religion.
Yeah, it's insanity.
Yeah,
Jack, you know
what it sounds like is a worship of tradition, not of God, but of interpretations of traditions.
Statutes, not traditions.
Statutes according to your interpretation.
According to the book.
You're weird.
Applied by your interpretation.
Jack, I'm sorry. He's right. It is in the book. And it says in the book that after they, like the non-believers, anybody that's gay, you name it, they can all kill them dead. That's God. That's their belief.
Do you believe that? Is that what you're trying to propose?
That's I read it in the Torah.
I'm not an Israelite.
Okay,
that's a
so what is your
answer.
point? You're saying that's what John believes. You're asking John to defend that belief. Is that what this is?
Yes,
in the land of Israel, in the land of Israel.
Yep.
If yes, 2 men were caught being gays, they had to stone
Yes.
them.
Kill them. How about non-believers? Hold on 1 second, Joe. How about the non-believers that don't believe?
If there
No,
was
I
an
read the whole
Israelite,
thing. Okay.
look, brother,
So
there was
if
a
they're
whole different
non-believe,
set. You didn't have to keep the
Why?
laws of Moses.
Okay, I am dumbfounded. Tarek, once again, you claim to have respect for me. You claim to care
I'm
about
sorry.
what
Go
I'm
ahead.
doing. So once again, you're back
I
to
apologize.
interrogating someone else.
I apologize. Go ahead.
Thank you for that apology. And you know what? I'm
No,
sorry for
I
getting
truly, I
I
truly
did
do.
good. Hey, I
No.
did good. 2.5 hours before I got that
You
stuff
did, you
going.
did
All right.
great. You did great. You did great, Jack. It's just, Jack, that I read the whole thing. It's like a simulation for me. I read it 2 days ago. I swear to God. And it says what Joel believes.
Okay,
Any
brother, what you're referring to is the
disbeliever.
law.
Yeah, the law of the
No, it
Torah,
does
which
not
is
say that.
okay, whatever it is, but it's crazy. Come on.
It says even if your own family member, speaking of an Israelite, that tells you to follow other gods, you had to be the first person to put them to death.
You're not an
Here we
Israelite.
go. Yes.
There we
Mom,
go.
dad has to kill you. Did you know that,
If they,
Jack?
if
If I'm sorry, Joe.
this is
1
the
second,
standard
Jack.
for an Israelite, brother. What about
That's
Muslims?
crazy.
What did Muhammad say?
I am
Muhammad
But
said that,
confident.
praise King
Actually,
Solomon.
Muhammad said, "Kill
Not
you."
no wizard.
hey guys, once again, let's bring this back.
Go ahead, Jack.
John Thomas and Tarek, please, I encourage both of you. There's
Yeah,
a
go ahead.
link.
Yeah.
There's a link in the private chat up there, Sons of God Ministries. I'll share
I'm
it in
gonna
the.
watch that.
Just please check him out with an open mind. I think he presents things pretty clearly, but I am not as well studied with the Bible as maybe some of you are. But
Your guy John, just to change it up a little bit, we're still talking about the same shit here. Your God, what similarity does he share with our beliefs? Because I don't have a religion. Your God is a fan of mercy and in these things. I'm just trying to find common
Absolutely.
ground to make sure that me, you, and Jack here can move
He's
along.
full of love and kindness, slow to anger. I
Very
mean, these
good.
are all things that Moses was told.
All right.
Okay,
But
Joe. I'm sorry.
can I
One
ask you,
question.
can I ask you something, Mr. Tarek? Are you a Sunni or Shiite Muslim?
I'm a Shia, which is good. Good.
Okay, so I
But
have
can I?
Shiite leanings too.
Okay, but here's the thing, Joe. If you
Mm.
say that Moses brought like love and all that, how could you kill? Just like you said, which I read it. Mom and dad would have to kill their own child if they don't believe in the Israelites or
But
Moses.
listen, I think the conversation is moot because we keep saying, how does he believe these things? And he keeps saying, I don't believe, they don't apply to me. I'm not an Israelite. However, he alludes that they do because he says, these are the laws I follow. So we're
Exactly.
just going in circles
I
here.
admire, yes, sir.
I admire, not follow. Which laws do you follow? I've asked you that 10 times. Which laws do you follow of Moses?
I would follow all of them.
No.
If
I didn't
could.
ask you what you would do in a perfect world, bro. When you get up in the morning, I don't kill, I don't steal. Those are the 10 commandments. Which do you follow of that book
He
that you
doesn't
like?
follow shit. That's the answer.
I would
No,
think
the
so.
ones
He'd
that I
answer by
could,
now.
Joe.
actually,
The ones
hey
that I
guys,
could, if I could be an
So,
Israelite.
all right.
so you follow them all, huh?
I would
Joe,
if I could.
All right,
Joe,
Jack.
you had it. Joe, you nailed it correctly. John, I'm going to say this with respect. I do want to wrap this up though too. But what I'm seeing is the defense of religion. We have people find beliefs and may not even be able to clearly explain them. And actually, many of the beliefs, when you can clearly explain them, make no sense until when you start explaining them, you're like,
Until
oh,
you
yeah,
start
yeah,
trying to
makes no
explain
sense.
them.
So picking and choosing and then claiming that we're a follower of this and then, casting judgment on others because they don't follow what we don't follow. What kind of nonsense? Brothers and sisters, we're here to change the world. And it starts with opening your mind.
But Jack, how could you open your mind when Joe's saying right now? I'm sorry, when Joe just asked him, "What do you believe out of the 10?" He said, "I would do the 10." When that would state that he would kill his own daughter if he had to, whatever the case may be. He has to
Until he does it, he's just a fellow man sitting here like me. Today, we're just having some conversations, and hopefully, Tarek, my hope is these conversations might stimulate the mind and some thoughts. Okay?
I totally agree.
Hey,
you did great today, Jack. You did great. You humbled yourself. You didn't get triggered. I watched the whole show. I had to eat a little bit, but you did good.
From I got here, you did not flare and all of that, all those things. Even when you kick motherfuckers, you didn't flare. And normally, you're losing your fucking mind by that. All right,
yeah.
I'm gonna say goodbye and let you say goodbye to your fucking chat. Guys, be easy.
Later.
Thank you, Joe.
Hey,
peace.
Before we sign off, can we look at Nude Guru? Had a pretty good question. If you're interested in anything.
Yeah.
I love that question. And actually, Joe, if you're still there, feel free. But I know my answer. Please, what are yours? Should we be open to violence?
No,
I
of
assume
course
to
not.
know John's, but I'd like to know John's opinion.
If someone tries to inject me with a foreign agent, I'm going to be a little open to violence. Yeah. They're coming at me with a needle.
I thought you meant a penis.
That's an interesting
that's a little vague.
answer.
Should I be open to violence? Sometimes you have to be.
Yeah,
How about if somebody rapes your daughter? How are you going to deal with that when your
Can
belief
we stop
system?
saying the fucking word, please?
Golly, jeez.
Well, I mean, that just doesn't make sense to me at all. That's
Brother,
like insanity.
My daughter would never get raped
John,
because one, she wouldn't.
No,
she
I
wouldn't be
understand
running
that.
around without me.
No, I
John,
understand
you're a
that.
fucking moron.
John, I understand that. No, John, I understand that. What I'm saying hypothetically, you said about somebody else's daughter applies to all of our daughters. If that's the case, then what you do, your daughter have to marry the guy?
That was the standard for Israelites.
All right, no problem. We'll leave it at that, I guess. Peace.
Okay, so all right. Thank you, Tarek.
No, I'm waiting for you. Go ahead.
Oh no, I thought you were saying you were out, but
no, I said peace. Like I don't want to like
violence if someone comes at him with a needle, and Guru, Tarek, what's your answer on violence?
I'm totally against violence. I think we should always resolve things with, the truth and try your best to not go there. But if you have to defend yourself and your family or friends or even not even friends, your neighbor, anything else like.
Hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt. Margot Davy, you are out of your fucking mind.
I know. I don't have a good feeling for her.
Yeah,
I never did. I always had a bad vibe for her.
This is the state. Right, but this is my life. People like this
is illegal,
are running around. Holy crap. I don't mean to share and promote her nonsense and insanity, but I've been asking for witnesses. So now I at least have witnesses of her fucking craziness.
Screenshot it. Yeah, screenshot that shit and keep it. That's insane. I told you the first time that bitch ever showed up, I told you that you can just feel the oil on her. Like, wow, Margo, you need to go back to drinking or something. I can't imagine that you're better like this than you were when you were just a drunk.
Don't Margo come up and defend that?
My answer to the violence thing is no. I've been tested too. I used to believe in violence, used to believe in capital punishment. I used to believe in a lot of different things. And I grew up, calling out bullies. So I had to learn to fight doing that with a big mouth. And I've been tested. I've said it, it was part of my growth, I think, a few years ago. I pussed out. I didn't puss out. I chose not to engage rather than defend myself. I got knocked out, but I'm
How did
still
that
here.
work? How'd that work for you?
It was stupid.
Okay.
I learned a lot that day, though. I learned a lot that day.
Well, like what? Like not to do that strategy anymore?
My own psychology and mob psychology, right? Because it was a group of people, and I stood up confidently, but that made them more afraid. They start everyone they kept grabbing at me to see if I was carrying something, so accused me of being armed, and then I could have walked away many times, and I didn't. The point is, peace is the answer. Peace is, guys,
I could have walked away many times and I didn't.
Yeah.
Why is Margot waiting like to the left? Something about Jack. I'm sorry, something about Margot. And even when Paul, kind of agreed with her on some things and not things, I always had a bad feeling just towards her, even though I don't know her that much, and she was talking. So, and I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I just don't know why she does that. Like, why even claim things that bad on the internet when you know you're about to close the show? What? She's trying to like defame you?
She's just walking around spreading just hostility.
Doesn't have the love of God in her.
Even like hypothetically, even if what she were saying was true, there's still no reason to come do it here unless you're being malicious, right? You would go do it where there's proper channels for this sort of thing. But when you come here and say something like that, and it's unsubstantiated, it's just pure malice. There's no redeeming value there.
I agree 100%.
This is kind of commonplace, though, if we're honest.
I mean, you need to draw some fucking boundaries. This is the reason that I am pretty okay with violence in probably more circumstances than it sounds like a lot of you are.
No, I mean, violence sometimes is necessary, but
sometimes it's required. Sometimes if you don't engage in it, that's the wrong thing to do.
Of course.
Hey, guys, I realized I was actually intent on shutting this down, but I was just remembered of something I watched earlier. I don't even like the guy, Tucker Carlson, but I was listening to some of the things he was saying recently, and man, this state of our fucking government, there's something wrong. Peace, these people in government, they're not even fucking discussing peace. All they're discussing is how to get the next budget passed, how we're going to fund one side of the chaos and the wars. This shit is nuts, man.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Tucker's out of control. He got fired from the whatever show he was on, and he got on some a broadcast, and he speaks well, but he lies so much. He goes bad. He flip-flops all the time.
He's totally controlled opposition.
Yeah. But guys, this is the state of our world. People literally, I don't know the solution. I really don't. But if you look at the greater world, the lack of accountability, these government officials, these whatever, all these people are fucking lying and they're just men and women. They're not above the truth. And they're not above, punishment. They're not above being caught.
Okay, well, let me play devil's advocate.
All right.
They are, I would propose that they're a distraction from the change that we can all make in the world. That's why I don't believe in vote. I don't vote. I think it's a placebo activity. The same thing applies here. If by focusing on other people's problems, that like that we read about, right? That we ignore the ones around us that we experience and can actually address.
Flo, that's
I agree.
very true.
No, I totally agree. And can I say something to John? John, I'm sorry. When I said that thing about your daughter, it could be the same that by my daughter. It was just hypothetically. I have no hate towards you. I didn't mean it that way. Your belief is your belief. Your thought process is your thought process. Mine is the way. I was just saying what I think, from my opinion. It just doesn't make sense. It's kind of insanity for me. I'm not trying to disrespect you anyway, even though I think what you said is just, I don't believe in it at all. That's all.
I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah.
Just
Hey guys,
it wasn't rape in every circumstances, is what I was trying to
I
say.
know. No, I understand that, and I didn't mean it that way. I apologize if you took if you took it that way. I didn't mean it that way.
hey, final
sir.
words, please. I'm gonna wrap this up.
Yeah.
Tarek,
I'll go first. I'll say peace, and Jack, you did great today, and keep it up. And we'll wait for tomorrow's show. And peace, and have a good night.
thank you, brother. You as well. God bless. John,
I'm still waiting on Snafu and Moose to apologize to me.
don't hold your breath.
You
Hey,
put
if
me
I
in the
was,
mix then, because I think that your belief system, your religion is fake. I don't think you believe in anything. You certainly don't act on it, and you are manipulative. You just use it as a weapon.
No, sir. No, sir. That
All
I mean
right.
that's pretty
That's
rough.
what I expected you to say is no.
I don't believe in anything because you don't
Okay.
understand what I'm saying, Flo.
I might
You
not.
obviously
That's fair.
haven't read the book, so you don't
I
understand.
have
what I'm
read
saying.
it.
Well, then
Yeah.
it went in one ear and
Hey,
out the other.
hey,
You don't
John.
retain
No.
information very well.
All right. Thank you, John. Have a good night, brother. I appreciate what you brought, and maybe your observation threw him on his final words, but I think
Sorry, I didn't mean to skunk up the final word.
no, I was
But like I don't know. I'm just
you
sort of
said
moved
probably
today.
what should have been heard. You
I'm
said
just
what should have been
there's
heard.
so many fucking fraudulent bullshit people out here that are just walking around saying shit that doesn't make any sense because they're all doing it together. I have no final words besides that. I guess praise God.
Amen.
Hey, did you watch that video?
Not yet.
You should
I
watch it.
started
It's good.
I'll
All
watch
right, take
later.
it easy. Later, chat.
Thank you, brother. I may have cut him off, but brothers and sisters, all those who joined the panel today, join the chat, and who may tune in at a later time, thank you again. I hope today's conversations, we bounced around on a lot of topics, and I truly did appreciate it. I know I get a little rough around the edges sometimes. I get throwing people out. Who knows what's going to happen when I get cranky. I don't think I got too cranky today. I want to thank again the people who allowed me to enjoy this stream, and that includes those of you who tuned in. Makes me feel better, even when I don't pay a lot of attention to the chat. Please, it does help me to know that there's others here. And what I trust and believe beyond the religions, okay? Beyond all of the interpretations and all the words and labels, brothers and sisters, just settle into logic, right? But don't let your logic ignore things that should be considered. And if you use your logic to look at all the things that you can consider from a calm mind, a place of peace, to bring it back into the topic, progress and context, right? Recognize you are the context. Everything you are thinking and seeing is in the context of you. It's within you, your perception, your consciousness, your veil, your limits of belief, of knowing. If you recognize yourself in the context of everything you're judging, everything you're chasing, everything you're wanting, if you recognize yourself within the context of that, well, You're bringing yourself into your life. You're accepting responsibility for who you are and what you do, what you want. Recognize just because you want something or think something doesn't mean you have to keep that want or that thought. You got to own what you want, own what you think, own what you say, own what you do. And here, I didn't really get into it, and maybe I'll get into this more in the future today. But learning to be authentic. You deserve to be you. And that just means being you in the best way you can. But to be you, to be me, I've got to adapt a lot, right? You got to adapt yourself to the people around, to the different environment, different goals, different agenda. You got to, there's a time for all things. And you got to recognize the time for the thing, the time for you. It's now. It's coming. The time is now for you to shine, to bring forth you and your greatness. Bring it into the world, man. See what you can accomplish. Anyway, much love to you as well, brother unslaved. God bless. So what does that mean to you? Nobody listens to you, obviously. Obvious to whom? And who's nobody? Are you sure in your absolutes? No exaggeration, no false conclusions. Anyway, thanks for playing along, Paul. Praise God, brothers and sisters. Thank you one more time. And I trust, perhaps, should God allow another day to be created for me to experience and share with you, I will likely be back online. And I hope with some good news and maybe with some great ideas. We'll have some wonderful conversations. Until next time, thank you again, brothers and sisters. Choose love always. Peace for everyone. God bless. Live without fear. Thank you.